Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
You don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is flat.
Globebusters taking over. Bye-bye, moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Globebusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Get the shovel for the space hubble, piecing up the puzzle. Need to burst your bubble, evil gonna crumble, yeah? Sit down, be humble, got the ball, you better fumble. You get mad, cause at this fight I'm Bob's your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Bob shut the president, Jeran got the evidence. Arrows laying Jesuits and Zack is evident. That the earth electric and it's resonant. Your residence is heavens and I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
Globebusters taking over. Bye-bye, moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is. Globebusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead, but your ball is.
Inner World Productions.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
And welcome everybody to Globebusters, the premiere of season number 134. Very good to be back. Hopefully you guys are happy, healthy. You had a good 4th, good holiday, and all that fun stuff. I am your host, temporarily, Jeran from Jeranism. But Bob is here, believe it or not. We just
Yes, I am.
spaces. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you. By the way, I didn't hear the audio coming through on the intro. Is that normal or?
Didn't come through for you guys, huh?
Which is interesting because that looks like the new intro, which I didn't know was done. It looked completely different than the one I had seen.
Oh, and then what do we have? Did people hear it? Let me check the YouTube page here. If
Nobody's complaining on YouTube.
Oh, they must have heard it then. I will have to see if there's a reason why, because that means if you guys are not going to hear videos I play.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Of course, if I can always play them, or whatever, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We're here. We're good.
So yeah, we're coming back, and we're just like a bunch of rookies all over again.
Of course. What did our intro used to say? Still struggling through Google Hangouts. Oh boy.
Yeah, my God. It's like it's going to be rolling up on 8 years here before long. Holy cow.
Smokes. Somebody says half the song was cut off for me. Somebody else says I heard it. Sound was good for the intro. All right. So here or there, neither here nor there. All right. Let's also see who else is joining us. We've got your better half, Cami, in the house. Cami, welcome to the show.
Oops, you're muted, Cami.
Maybe we don't
Whoops,
have Cami
was
now.
it?
There
Nope,
we go.
I'm here. Was expecting to be lost or not at all, but good to be here.
on.
Good to be back.
I've got more manners than that. I put women first all the time. Believe it or not.
Yeah, she's better than that. He's better than that than me.
We've also got Zack is with us. Zack, welcome to the show. Welcome back to Globebusters.
Hey, yeah, I love being here. So good to be back. We need this. We really do.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks. There's all kinds of stuff always going on, and it's too much to cover. Usually, it's the team of I like calling them heliosexuals now. I don't know if that's rude, but the team of globe believers that is just out there attacking wherever they can, and usually failing miserably. Let's bring on. We also have Austin. Austin, you in the house?
How's it going?
Sweet, good. You have a new place, yeah?
Yeah, we just got a house. We're renting a house in South Carolina. And yeah, we're like Kai's 16 weeks pregnant. So 16 weeks pregnant, new house in August.
Wow.
Wow.
You got all the fun stuff going.
And he's my new neighbor.
How far?
Yeah.
He said 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly.
In theory, yeah. We'll have to test it out and see.
We're taking
that's
over
awesome.
South Carolina.
God, no kidding. Everybody's moving to South Carolina. Have you noticed that?
I mean,
yeah, I heard my boy Grounded Extracts was in South Carolina now too.
Oh, he's going over there? Or he's already there?
Yeah. Yeah, he's already here.
There.
Nice.
And Spicy Sarah's here, and yeah, everybody's moving down here. It's crazy. But, it's a decent environment for the political environment. It's one of the places I would rather be than in certain other states. So
Are you
give
talking
it
about
that
my
much.
state? That's rude.
Yeah, rather than, well, Colorado's just about as bad, Jeran. I mean, my good God, it's insane there.
Really?
Oh my God. and see all the stuff that's going on with the crap they're pushing, with the schools and the gender, and oh my God. This world is freaking insane.
It is. It's like a movie. It's like sometimes I wake up, I'm like, is this real? I feel like that kid in that video where he's taking the laughing gas from the dentist. He's sitting in the backseat. Is this real life? It's like me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And it's so weird because, I remember, starting when we first started doing this like seven plus years ago, we're talking about all this crazy stuff that would be happening. And, I was even thinking at the time that it sounded crazy. But now that it is happening, it's like, wow, I can't even believe that it actually is happening, all this stuff. So,
and there's so many people that are just blind to it that don't see it at all. Think everything's normal.
Yeah, I know.
I will do a quick challenge. We'll do this challenge. It's called the who can have a place more like hell than me. This is my 7-day forecast. So we got 101 today, 102, then 107, 103, 101, 104, 103, 101, and 100. So I just want to see if somebody's weather can be worse than that without them living in hell. That would be impressive.
Well, you know what? That is the exact reason I left the San Joaquin Valley.
It's like it's like 2 months straight, basically all of July, all of August. And I've had a nightmare of a time with my pool. We had the pool for like a week. We were just in our height and glory, just out there in the pool, took care of everything. And then it started to leak. And then we had to drain it and patch it and did it again and drain it and did it again. And then we finally had to send it back. And then we still haven't gotten our second pool yet. So nightmare. And we probably won't get it for another week or so. So guess we're just going to be inside and, raising the electric bill to around $400 or $500. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, not to mention the water bill.
Yeah.
It takes a lot, but boy, the pool's nice to have. I'll tell you, I wish, I might have stayed in California. Well, actually I did have a pool because I lived in an apartment there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just, it's too damn hot there. And 100 degrees, Denver's experiencing the same thing right now, going over 100-degree days.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people. Somebody in Ohio was showing me that they had high 90s all week. So pretty crazy and pretty hot for sure. I want to start out with showing a little fundraiser we have going that I guess you can start talking about it, Bob, while I pull it up real quick.
Absolutely. I started talking about this last season before, we kind of ended. And I was talking about people in the community that, have very special talents that we should really be exploiting and supporting. And, one of those people that, of course, came to mind was Sean Hibbler. We've all seen Hibbler Productions documentaries, and they're fabulous. He does a really, really good job at it. He's very dedicated to it. Thing I like about Sean is he doesn't get in there and play she's a shell type game. He sticks to business, and he just makes his documentaries. That's what he cares about, and he cares about getting the truth out to everybody. So, his problem, his bottleneck basically was his system, as it is with many people. When you have to do a lot of video rendering, well, it's pretty tough when you're operating on a, $500 Dell system or something like that. It just doesn't get the job done. So when I talked about that, there was a gentleman out in the audience. Ooh, I just heard myself.
See if it goes
now
away.
I'm echoing.
See if it goes away.
Okay, let's see. Test. Nope, it's back.
Okay, I'll unshare. I was sharing my screen with sound to see if that would fix it, but not so. All right.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead.
And you're echoing.
I took it off now.
Nope, it's still doing it.
Wait, what? Oh, wait. Why does it say recording? Stop recording. My bad. I meant stop screen share. Where's that? Stop sharing. Okay, there you go. Now you don't hear it.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
So anyway, and I don't know if the guy that donated the video card wants his name mentioned or not. But
not yet, I don't think.
Yeah, he donated a very, very nice video card. And so I went ahead and spec'd out the rest of the system that would, kind of do that video card justice, that would, support it and be commensurate with the video card capabilities. And we started a Fundly campaign on it. And this is for Sean Hibbler. And we're just, doing pretty well so far. We got $1,000 to go on it. But this basically will give Sean Hibbler the tools that he needs to really start coming out with some top-notch documentaries. And, I think this is absolutely a worthwhile thing for people to support because he has definitely paid his dues. He's definitely showed what he is capable of. And, the guy's just top-notch. So I wanted to help out. I was the first donor. I threw in $100. Plus, I'm going to build the system. I spec'd it. I'm going to build it. And I'm also giving it to him at my dealer cost. So we're getting it for as cheaply as we possibly can. But boy, is it going to be a nice system.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's exciting. And I agree that if as a, there's strength in numbers. And as a community, we came together when these things came up and helped one of our own, somebody who's doing that kind of work. And it doesn't need to be a lot of money, right? I mean, if we have, how many subs does this channel have? 69,000, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We really just need 200, 300 people to give $5. So it's, it's not a lot out of everybody's pocket, but we all get the benefit of, a computer like that's going to last probably 5 years. So, very good product, and Bob does a great job building them. I didn't have many issues with my other computer, and it still works on the other desk. And so he's the right person to do it, and we have a really great person in the community that's helping out sometimes with donated graphics cards, which makes the price even easier for us to reach. So if you guys could, I put the link in the Globebusters YouTube chat and Rockfin, and if you guys have $5, that'd be awesome if you go over there and help out. And I think it shows well when we do fund things like this kind of quickly and, not struggle with 25 donors or something like that. But I get it. It's tough times. Everybody's going through the tough times. But if you have that $5, Hibbler would appreciate it, and it's going to go to a good cause.
Yep, absolutely.
So
yeah, Sean's a great guy. He really is.
He's awesome, yeah. Thank you, Doug. Yep. Doug donated Rainer Fakesh. I think I said that right. We've got Anonymous. And we've got Sean Patrick McNally. Thank you very much for that. Myself, thank you, Jeran. We've got Jennifer Bryant. Thank you, Jennifer. And Bob Nodell. So if you guys want to join that list and help out Hibbler, the link is being dropped one more time in Rockfin and YouTube. Anybody else? Any comments on Hibbler Productions?
Yep. I also put the link in the show notes on the YouTube side. I forgot about the
awesome.
Rockfin side. But I'll get it in that. We'll get it in there.
Sweet. Anybody else? Any comments?
Well, yeah, just the main guy that's releasing really the main documentaries, the fire documentaries of the last couple of years that everyone's sharing. It should be unspoken that we're all on the same page, that we would prefer him have a really good computer to make future documentaries. So it seems like
somebody's saying the link is
we should all be on the same page in this one.
Hold on a second. Somebody's saying the link is not clickable. What happens when you click it? Oh, no, it goes there for me. Anybody else having trouble? I click it and it goes straight to the page.
No, let me try it.
Somebody says, that link is not clickable for me. It just gives me a reply to it.
Nope, it goes right to it for me.
Okay. Yeah, mine too. So not sure if I read the
I too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I totally agree with what Austin's saying is that, it's just great to help out. Like if you watched Level and the next level for free, just realize that you did. that you watched both documentaries by somebody who spent all that time making it. He had to fly out and see people, get interviews, put all that together, and you just took it for free, which I get it. Some people don't want to pay anything, but if you could, you have no problems going to a movie for $12.50 or whatever it costs to go to a movie for yourself. So just think of it the same way and help out Hibbler, and then you don't ever have to help him out again. No, I'm just kidding. You won't help him out other times too, but it would be awesome to get him a nice computer.
I don't think he's doing this for money or fame or anything like that. When I hear him speak in interviews, he's in it for the same reasons we are. We want a better future. We want, humanity's steered in the right direction.
Many of us are taking much less, right? I mean, it's not like anybody's doing this to get rich. I mean, David Weiss, people think he's getting rich off his app, and the bills that he has to pay monthly are ridiculous. He's not getting rich; he's getting by. And if there's anybody that you want doing that, it's Dave. You want him to put his full court press on this subject. Same thing with me. I taking a lot less. We make a ton less than we made when I was a store manager of a drugstore. And Hibbler, I'm sure, is making a lot less. And we choose to do this because we love it. I'm sure Bob's making less. So everybody who is making anything is making basically nothing. It's not a lot. Hate to tell you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I started doing Flat Earth, my income took a huge beating, partially from losing customers that, thinking you're crazy, completely, you've lost the plot and you think the Earth's flat and all this stuff. I mean, and even the people that were all right with all the other conspiracies that I would talk about to my customers, they were cool with those. But man, when it went to Flat Earth, nope, that was the line. They couldn't handle it, which is amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at what you're opening. Anyway, all right. So anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the things that, I took some time off. I've had some health issues and we're working on them. I'm getting better. Contrary to there are some idiots out there, who is it? Flat Earth Reset, who
he's still alive.
That, yeah, he thinks that I needed to take that time off so I could commit suicide.
Oh, nice. And good guy. These guys are great researchers. Great researchers, though.
Something.
That guy is he is such a loser. And I don't know how people like that can look at themselves in the mirror every day. But anyway, yeah, he's spreading around a rumor that I had a failed attempt at taking my own life, which is absurd. It's like, no, it's a health problem. It's not, I want to go kill myself. Give me a break. That's crazy. But anyway, so in the time that I took off trying to, get some of my health issues addressed, I've been watching very closely what's been going on in the community. And, I got to say, it kind of sucks. It really does. It seems like everybody is splitting apart and, everybody's going into their own little factions. And, well, if you don't believe this, then, you're shill because you should be, screaming this at the top of your lungs. And I'm really disappointed in some people that have gone after others on that. I'm really disappointed in that. And I hate to see it because you know what? Again, we're all on the same team. It's like, why do people have to say, if you don't support what I'm into, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, it's just so absurd. So and the amazing thing that I was thinking also as I was watching the community and I was watching them in the debate groups and stuff like that, and even people coming into the Globebusters 24/7 group. And what I realized is that so many flat earthers are woefully uneducated, even on our own model, right? And I'm amazed at that because, obviously Jeran and I have been doing this for the last 7 years, trying to put out all this information and break it down as best we can, keep people up to date and all this stuff. But ever since, YouTube took over all the searches, it's made it obviously very hard for people to get information that's reliable, right? So what I decided that we needed to do, and this is one of the reasons why I decided to start Globebusters Tech, is we need to go back and basically start over again. Do 101 classes, explain eclipses, explain the electrical phenomena of this world, explain why my voice keeps going away, and just all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things that have been missed, and like I said, it's not through the fault of the newcomers or anything like that. It's because the search engines have been very compromised.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, we're going to go back and we're going to do these basic shows. We're going to cover them in their most elemental processes, and we're also going to share some of the better content producers that are really getting behind this. Okay, so today we named the show Don't Sphere the Truth. Well, if you guys are not familiar, there's a content producer out there by the name of Don't Sphere the Truth, and he doesn't get out in public. He's very private, but the guy is one of the most prolific video makers out there. I cannot believe how much stuff he comes up with. And it goes back years and years and years and years. I don't even know where he finds half of this stuff. So I basically watched his entire library. And so in honor of him, and I don't even know his name or anything like that, but in honor of him at Don't Sphere the Truth, he's going to be one of the very first people that I'm going to say subscribe to his channel. He has Don't Sphere the Truth, and he has Don't Sphere the Truth 2 as his backup channel. Recommend 100% that you get on there. He has very, very long videos, but like I said, he gets material from all over the place, right? And you will be amazed what he's got in there. And so that's going to be one of the first people I start out with. So what do you guys think? Do you guys have any people that you think are exceptional in that area besides us?
I think there's a lot of good people. In what particular area you mean? Just as creators?
Yes, creators and diversified information. I mean, I know we're good at that.
Yeah, I think that
but so are a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think the Melodome and Iron Realm are awesome. And it's always new when you listen to those shows, and they're doing good things there, and they have a good community focus, a good community mind. So I like both those shows. Melodome and yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, Iron.
Yeah, you stole mine, man. I was about to say Melodome, bro.
Did I say Iron Republic?
Yeah.
I meant Iron Realm. If I said Iron Republic, Iron Realm. Sorry, I might have said Iron Republic.
I'm a little.
You stole mine too. I'll
Yeah.
do that one too.
Think of what other ones I can think of. No, good shows there, and I think that Kyle's doing a good job, doing a lot of work over there too.
Mm-hmm. And Kyle will be joining us shortly.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
And Kyle, as you guys know, just joined the Globebusters right towards the end of last season. And so he will be out with us doing that. That's going to be great because, he's got the Flat Earth Institute of Science, and he actually has the patience to debate with a lot of people, which I don't. And, that's a good thing. But so we're going to come up with kind of a curriculum that we're going to go through and cover each individual area that, people are having trouble with. And if there's something specific that you guys feel needs to be covered, let us know. And, we'll go for that. But I really, really do believe, and this is not a slam on anybody. It's just because, we've been so diverted from everything that nobody knows where to go to find, all the good information. Short of the Jeranism and Globebusters and Iron Realm Media is a very good channel, but there are people out there that are just fabulous. There's also other people out there that have archived a lot of the old channels, and I'm trying to remember his name. He always texts me all the time. I can't believe I'm in a brain cramp. Alex Gortoy, yeah.
Mhm.
Alex.
Yeah, and so he has 2 or 3 sites where he has archived just about every major flat Earth video and conspiracy video, and we need to kind of support him and the work that he's doing because if YouTube wipes all this stuff out, it's gone, right? So I'm going to start uploading all of our old stuff, including the stuff. And can we do that? Can we upload videos that, like on Rockfin, that weren't necessarily directly ours, but covers the same type of material?
I don't think they're going to say anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so anyway, because I mean, it's it's a lot of fair use, but because we all share each other's work and stuff like that, and that's kind of the idea. But I don't want to get in trouble or get anybody in trouble with that.
So if you go to this is at channels-list.com, and when you go there, you get to Alex's site, and there is a channels list. I think that's the site I'm on, isn't it?
You're not sharing.
Oh, didn't I share with you guys? Share screen.
No. While you're sharing with us, it's on the Skype. There you go. Now you're on.
Gotcha.
Now you're on YouTube.
Where's the channel? Oh, here we go. So if you look here, I mean, these are all the channels, so you can see tons of them. So he's even adding them. So you got Alex Stein's channel here. Oh, he's got like Alison Morrow's stuff. She's on Rockfin. But yeah, you can go through here, and these are all old accounts with the videos that are now on these servers. So we go to Brian Stavely.
I think he started this in 2018.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. Mistaken. So like here's Brian Stavely's 3 channel. So you can see that some of the stuff that you may be missing or not know where to go to find some of the old stuff. It is all here, and some people that are gone now are here still. Can anybody,
like Seventh Day Truth Seeker?
Okay, let's find that. Yeah, he got taken down from YouTube.
I think he said 21 terabytes of storage.
Wow,
that's a lot.
Yeah, look how long it takes you just to get through the channel list. That's good.
I think we would be remiss when thinking about all of these good channels and people doing things out there if we didn't remember to mention Karen B, who not only handles like a whole bunch of tech material and magnetics and crystals and again how the world works, but she also delves into current issues. She goes into Bible study in a concordance or an actual meaning and is teaching a lot of people, is putting on the conferences, and is all around doing everything for as many people as possible, including like stopping what she's doing how many times a day to put different plate maps and tectonic maps and things like that for me in a AE format so we can get a lot further. I don't think, again, the community would be where we are without people like Karen B and Jeran and again, Bob and David and that. So
I totally agree. I totally agree. Karen is a rock star. Awesome. She really is. And, she does so many different facets of flat earth, and it all applies whether you're coming at it from a religious angle or a technical angle. And, guys, take a lesson from us. We all get along with each other. I mean, Jeran and I don't see eye to eye on everything, but you're not seeing me out here calling him a shill or saying, well, because you're not covering gravity the way that I believe it should work, then you're a fucking shill. You're never going to hear that out of me. Towards anybody, but he accepts my viewpoint and I accept his, and there's a lot of stuff I do agree with Jeran on, and that's one of the reasons why we had such a successful relationship for the past 7 years. But overall we've allowed each other to do our own thing and be supportive of that. And, Lord knows we've gotten into some heated arguments, some of them on air, right? I will never, ever, ever forget the day that I was trying to do my hypothetical imaginary story of what doing something in space.
That one wasn't just me. That was Iru and John, too, wasn't it?
I know. It was all, I wanted to wring you guys' necks, man.
My favorite Globebuster show has to be John in Math Powerland, because I wasn't there.
Yeah, I took that down a long time ago. Oh, man.
It's like the very first show I ever wasn't there. And Bob gets stuck with that fun extravaganza. Very good time.
I almost set the rule on that one. No more Globebusters without Jeran, by the way.
Oh, funny. That was good times. Go ahead, Bob. I was just showing this. I don't know if anybody else wanted to bring up a channel name. I could look for it, but as you can see, there's tons. So that's go there and look. There's Conspiracy Music Guru. Just a good place to find all the content.
Yep, and of course,
Austin does. I search flat Earth today in the filter every single day. That's one of my things I do when I get up.
Oh, not on here. You mean on YouTube?
YouTube, yeah. I'll just type in flat Earth as the search, and then I hit like today is videos just from today. And there's still, you get a lot of the stupid stuff, but there's a lot of new channels coming out.
Good.
With even flat Earth in the title. Yeah, there's so many new, and they're sharing a lot of old videos and stuff like that. Good. But it's great.
I think TikTok TikTok's got a
out.
few people that are doing it, and TikTok is obviously where younger people are going. And I think we're getting a lot of views from there too.
Yeah.
So.
What's her name? Jenny? That's from there?
Jenny's doing it. Yep.
Yeah. It'd be great if Jenny would maybe even occasionally join us on Globebusters or on the tech side. And, because she is sharp, obviously. And she's
sharp. She learned
understand.
She learned a hard lesson this last 2 weeks because she was on her TikTok and she said the J word. And they came after her pretty hard. She just sent me a picture of her in some J-word magazine where she is being called an anti-Semite and being attacked from all angles. So she learned real quickly that there is one group out there that will shut your ass down and go after your pocketbook and your wallet. So
put her in a mag ready that quick.
Yeah, she was in a magazine. She was on like one of the major Instagrams called like Stop Anti-Semitism Now or something. And the funny thing is that she's Jewish. So how are you an anti-Semite when you're Jewish?
Oh wow, that's crazy. And
how are you
what's amazing is when I used to work before I started my company Denver Network, I used to work for a different company in Denver that serviced a lot of other companies. And one of the places that we serviced that I never really understood until much, much, much later was a place called the Anti-Defamation League, right? And it's like, oh, so what's this place about? And it's like, oh, it's all about, Jewish, people bashing on Jews and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, why do you need that? So anyway, whatever. It's just, I was surprised that there even was such a thing, but you just never know.
You never know. But anyway, she should be back soon, but she's taking it on the chin for that one. And what they did is they posted her business license and her business name and location, and she got flooded with Google business reviews. And these people are wicked. Death threats, rape threats, which is pretty funny. It's like, okay, we know who did those threats, yet we're not allowed to talk about them. So it's pretty crazy. But she's got a good chin. She's tough, and I think that she's not going anywhere. But I'll tell her to join us maybe on this show. But she's been doing a good job. And then there's a couple other guys, Caleb and some of the other guys David's been working with that are doing a good job on TikTok as well.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to get women to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, dude, it's so sad. They come at them so hard. It's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of sad, but it's even hard for the guys. So I can only imagine, the females having to deal with that. That's why that's a huge crippling factor, in my opinion.
How much do you look at comments, Austin?
I don't.
Okay. Good.
Well, I mean,
me neither.
At this point, I only get good comments pretty much. So it's it's no big deal. I don't really engage, but I don't really ever read negative comments. Facebook's the most toxic thing in my life, to be honest. And it needs to go, maybe.
Yeah, it's all toxic really when you get into the negativity, because it's just, again, people getting away with things they would never get away with in real life. They feel tough. They can say whatever they want. They can call girls men. They can, you can do whatever you want when you're behind a keyboard and nobody knows where you're at. And you can get away with saying the same thing over and over again, even if it's unproven and you just feel like saying it all the time. But the thing about females that I've noticed is, doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they cannot not look at comments. I've yet to meet one that will just not look at comments. I told my wife, don't look at comments, don't look at comments. She would always look at comments. Told Patricia
Congratulations.
Steer,
You've just met one, Jeran.
You don't look at them.
I don't look at them unless I'm told to, unless I'm told by like if I'm asked by Bob to cover and do this. And I have no problem. I go in there and sort and delete, and I save the good ones, get rid of anything trash if anything's in doubt, depending on the mood. But I do it quickly, and it does not. They can be really.
Yeah,
I mean, the more brutal the comments are, the more sad the people I think they are.
Oh, that's for sure.
It's like, what a sad person.
But I think when it's like
Yeah,
somebody's going after you, you know, if you did a show that was you and then the comments were all directed at you, it's very hard for girls not to go look what are people saying about me.
I guess that's
like
true.
when we do the debate, we did the debates on Modern Day Debate. Like Kai was all up in those comments.
Yeah,
frequently. You know, yeah. I mean, she's obviously mature enough to know like they're just honestly kind of losers. We laugh about them, but I'm like, just better to just let it go. Like, just don't even read it. It's like it's breathing life into the troll to even like read or engage. You know,
correct. Yeah,
acknowledging them life. That's why I don't write back to trolls anymore. I mean, I spent a year and a half before I started making videos in Globebusters comment section, Jeran's comments section a lot, like 300 thread comments back and forth with the same person. You know, it's not worth it. They're there to waste our time.
Yeah, I think
that's what they're there for.
And I've said that for years, and you know, identified it right away, and have even appealed to other creators to do the same thing. But you know, I'm not going to tell them not to do that. But to me, it's always just been a big waste of time because they just sit there and they will lie. They'll do anything in the world to take away from the argument, and that's their job. Literally, it's their job. So they will do anything to try and defame you, make you look bad, make you look like a liar, and not to, you know, not the least of which is, of course, lie about everything themselves, which they do quite often. I mean, look at what Wolfie 6020 and all those guys did to Taboo Conspiracy. You know, they thought it was just a great big, you know, load of fun, you know, writing Ben and saying, we have this information about such and such. And then slammed him for wanting to know more about it, being polite. It's like, who does that?
Yeah, after being set up is just terrible.
You know, it's like they paint us as like flat Earth as these like losers that have hero complexes and all this stuff, and we're in the corner of the internet. But if you really look at the macro true picture, they're the only ones in the picture that are super lame. Like the people that don't really know the conversation, that's just normal people, and maybe you know, ignorance is bliss and they're distracted. Then there's those of us who actually know and try to wake other people up. There are those that are slowly waking up. And then there's this other little group of people that for years have been obsessed with flat Earth. And they use their anonymity to run around and try and like torture them and make like fan pages of ours and remix music videos of me and stuff. And it's like, they're the only people in the picture that are super lame. So it's just very ironic. You know, I like,
well, there's some channels that wouldn't
funny.
even have a channel if it wasn't for us. What would Simon Dan do? What would Fight the Fat Shirt do? You know, these guys only can exist off of flat Earth content, yet they think it's so dumb. It's hilarious.
Well, they don't. None of them think it's dumb. They all know they have to lie. So we're dealing with like this really, really subpar group of humans. Like they lie and straw man on purpose. They know what our actual response is, but then they just keep repeating the lie for 5 years.
Right.
In a straw. So it's like this is a whole different world of people. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're literally not worth any time or energy at all.
Yeah.
These are the people that in video games.
They what?
Same type of person.
Yeah. It's insane. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, oh, did you listen to Red's Rhetoric and Steve's something stream? I'm like, I haven't listened to those guys in years. What are you talking about? Oh, they were saying that you were a Bitcoin scammer. I'm like, wow. 5 years later. Yeah. It's like, do they know that we're in the United States? And if somebody scammed somebody or stole money, that you call the police and then the police go and arrest them? That's how it works. You can't just say it for 5 years on the internet and nothing come of it. Clear, but you know what? Their viewers are not smart enough to realize that. They think of it like, yep, he must have scammed and must have stolen all this money and just has existed for 7 years and the police haven't caught up to him yet or something.
Yeah. And that whole thing was a bunch of crap anyway, because you were trying to expose somebody that was ripping people off. And, you know, they're immediately taught the satanic formula. Turn it around 180 degrees, do to them exactly what you're going to accuse them of you doing, right? And it is so effective. It's unbelievable. And it surprises me that people fall for it.
Well, and it's like, you know, they tell us, Bob, that we did a fundraiser that we never did, or, you know, that we raised $20,000 for the gyroscope, you know, stuff that's just nonsense. Never happened. There was never a gyroscope fundraising, but they'll just say that for all times. and that we steal, donators' money. None of it's true. None of it's ever even been accused of us. And then they are the ones who get caught doing that. Red's Rhetoric and all those guys, and Sean Hufford. Sean Hufford's gone, I think, because they got caught stealing people's money, doing fake fundraisers. So it's like you said.
But you know what?
Very good.
We all get to talk. I get to go. But that's some of the magic of meeting people in person and doing the conferences and the get-togethers and that. I have to share like a story of the first conference. And many of you guys will remember Mac, dear Mac Parher. The first time I met Mac was at the Raleigh conference. And Mac, being in the truther community and everything, he met me, he saw my tag, and he looks at me and his eyes got big and he's like, "Oh my God, can I make a video of you?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You're not a guy." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not a guy at all." But he'd been watching these videos, and this was 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and the videos out there on me being married to Bob is that I was a man, and I found it humorous, but I found it interesting that, again, the truther community, a lot of them were expecting me to be a guy, but I did like the observation skills that he took one look at me, and he put his hands on my waist, on my hips. It was actually kind of funny. He was like, "No, there's just no chance of you being a guy," and it's like, you're right. The doctor would have told me when I was giving birth. I just know it, but
probably.
But it's meeting again and doing the hands-on. So you meet people like this and you see their eyes. And again, it makes truthers when they go to these a little bit more seeing everybody as real people and less knowing that there's a lot of lies and a lot of shit going around that's not true. And then you also go to the conferences. And like at the Dallas one, I met George Nutsack or whatever his name was, one of these trolls. And I mean, he's the most pathetic person I've ever... I felt sorry for him. I mean, I felt it's like you're just really for his, all the yucky things that he's done. It's like what a sad life he has. So again, seeing people and seeing the different people, talking to them, exchanging energy, you really get a better sense. So when you see the comments, you have a better representation where they're coming from, and there's just no harm in going blink. You just probably look like George. Blink, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Blink.
Yeah, and if you guys
you're
don't
a
know,
Mac. You don't know any better, but when you meet me, you will. It's you just do it that way.
And if you guys don't know who George Nutsack is Nutnuke or something, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. He's this crotchety old man that he's the guy that basically tried to get Brian Mullen fired and tried to get him in trouble with the engineering board, and called him up and told him all kinds of stories, and tried to get him kicked off and tried to get him fired right after he had just gotten married and got a new family. And so I mean, these are the type of people that we are dealing with, and it's really sad. But that's one of the things that, like I said, that I was noticing this trend in our community. Come on, people, we don't need to have this happen in our community. We don't need to have flat earthers coming across as badly as some of these trolls do. It's not right. We've got to support each other because, nobody can take us down faster than us, right? They're not going to do anything to us because we have all the proof. We have all the proof. We are the ones that can defend any argument against the flat earth. They won't address us or anything like it. So the only thing that they can do is go against people with, slander and all kinds of things like that. So
I just want to say that like the Wizard of Oz, where they pull back the curtain, right? That's what it is. And the internet is they get to act like the big bad guy.
Right.
But when I was on tour and the Globe Earthers that did have the balls to come in person, just like Cami said, you immediately know, like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Like these people are just weirdos, bro. I had a person in Houston, he's in his 50s, brings his mom with him to come out to my activism in Houston to tell me how dumb I am for thinking the earth is flat. My dude, you're in your 50s dragging your mom out to come talk to me and just getting intellectually destroyed on every point, and then like running away, then coming back and planning your whole night to come talk to this YouTuber with your mom in your 50s. I mean, that is wild.
I bet he had a date right after.
Oh yeah, sure, with his mom.
Yeah.
I remember that guy. He kept coming up to you, just kept coming back. And then there was a guy that was trying to, kept trying to pick a fight with you. I mean, these guys are just amazing.
Let's watch. Dave Weiss wants us to watch his latest video on his channel. It's only 2 minutes, 28 seconds. I'm sure it'll include some great music. Let's check it out. This is, I guess, concerning Red's rhetoric. It must be from that very hot show that he did with the guy who looks like a Cocker Spaniel.
Okay.
Oh, you guys can't hear it.
Hi.
No, I can't.
Good
And
afternoon,
you've got the
all
Globebusters
students,
flash on
ours.
It'll come up.
YouTube. Okay, there it's
I'm the
transferring.
commander. Good afternoon. My name
Let's
is.
stop it here before we get into it, though. Any of you guys have a comment on this glass of water?
On this glass of water?
Have you seen this, Bob? Look at this glass of water in space.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I swear.
What?
The laptop falls closed later on in the video.
Really?
The laptop screen falls down. Yeah, that's the thing that got me. I didn't even notice the water until they started playing with it. But yeah, the laptop, she like bends over and she's going to like maybe grab the water or look at it, and the laptop screen falls closed.
I mean, but you're telling me in a parabolic flight you would have just a still glass of water?
Not a chance.
I don't think so either. No chance. All right, let's watch.
Absolutely correct. The standard cup will not work in a weightless environment. The cup that we're all used to drinking.
I don't have any audio.
A standard cup like this does
Yeah,
not work in a
everybody else
weightless
does.
environment. It
So
requires
sorry about
gravity
that.
to hold the food in the bottom of the cup.
It'll cause echo.
Uh-oh.
It experiences about 87%, if I remember correctly, the gravity that we experience here on Earth.
So would that keep water in a cup?
No, surface tension does.
Okay, so wouldn't the top of that surface tension like try to bulge up and not be flat?
No, what you're referring to is footage from the Chinese space station, the CSS, or the Tiangong 1, whatever they're calling it. And what these Chinese astronauts did was they had water in a cup, and the water was just sitting there. The cup has these things called walls, and surface tension can stick to said walls. Therefore, it will stay in the cup. And surface tension can stick to said walls. Therefore, it will stay in the cup.
That baby's infectious. Don't be a clue. Dave, volume down on the outros, huh? Thank you for not blowing out my eardrums.
I could listen to that baby laugh all day long.
I did too. I was just cheer me up. And make sure you get the app. Point your camera right there. Get the app and become one of the many, many, many blue dots, or you actually become an orange dot, but you can eventually be blue like many of us if you are so lucky. I want to show something else that I got to do a better job filming it. Oh, let me actually bring up here. 1 second. Let me bring this up. I want to make sure I've got the website. So everybody remembers Rob Skiba. May he rest in peace. And he had the site testingtheglobe.com. There we go. So let me bring this up. Display.
Oh, I just ordered one of those too after I saw you got one.
Yeah, I got one too. So if you go down to the
I
bottom
thought it'd
of the
be great
page,
to have at Plateauberfest.
yeah, down here, he still has a bunch of these kits, and you'd be helping out Sheila. If you're interested in getting one, you just click buy now, and you get shipped this very nice package. It comes with a thumb drive with all of Rob's stuff on it.
You're not sharing on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Now you are. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
And then you also get, and let me show you because I set mine up. It's a little bit difficult to get a good camera shot of it. Let me see, where am I at here? I don't know which one it is. Hold on. Okay, this one. So I'll bring up mine. One of these might not be the correct one. Is it this one? I'll show you. Okay. So this is the little setup. I just put a little piece of tarp down, and basically you get these two trifold boxes. One of them has the lens in the front, you see, and then behind that you've got the Chicago skyline. So I'm just taking my phone. You put the camera side down, and if we get closer, you'll notice that if we kind of pretend that the water is, this right here, we can see the water. Oh, you can't see my mouse there again. The black, you can see the water here, and just the blue, you're going to want to pretend that's also the black, or the black is also the blue. And you can kind of pretend that there's the water there, and you'll notice that when we start to pull the camera away is when you're going to get the buildings to fall below. Maybe this is not the right one. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it is. You're going to get the buildings to fall below the horizon. And again, this is on a very flat desk or table. And what the atmosphere does, because it's a lens, is it's magnifying what's behind it. But then as you pull back, you can't see the ground anymore. It's not magnifying the ground. Now you'll notice here when I go up and down with my camera that we get a little unique kind of display here. And if you look, we're going to go over here now to YouTube and see what they call the New Orleans elevator at Soundlace channel. And you'll notice it's exactly the same thing. That all he's doing here is he's taking his drone up and down. And when he does, he loses the buildings, and they attribute that to Earth curve. That's what they say that's going on here, is that the drone is going up and down, and the bulge of water in between you and the buildings is what's causing that. But again, we just need to go back to what's going on here.
Soundly thinks it's Planet Pontchartrain, though. I mean, I can't believe anybody even considered that as being realistic. That shot, we all have seen that shot of Pontchartrain, was absolutely absurd. How much curvature was in it, and they were claiming left and right, and all the shills, just like they had to do. Charles from Flat Earth Math, after saying for months you could never ever see any curvature from ground level or anything like that, he was on 100%. Oh yeah, well this is that one time. This is the greatest example ever, and it's like they're just unbelievable. 100% support for each other, which, like I said, is good for them, bad for us, but we could take some lessons from that. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then the other one, let me bring up the other one. So it comes with two different experiments in that box. The first one being the one we just saw, and then the next one you get the boat and the sun on a little placard, and then you pull it away from the atmosphere, and you'll notice that that's on a flat table, and yet the boat disappears bottom up, and the sun disappears going down like we see the sunset. So it is funny that you have these guys acting like it's literally impossible for an item to disappear bottom up unless we live on a sphere, which is completely wrong. And so it's funny because when you really think about all the things that they told us that they're so wrong about, and even that doesn't wake people up, right? They said, oh, only a sphere makes a sphered shadow on another sphere. Not true. It's not true. Yeru's shown it. Many people have shown it. It's actually the sphere that doesn't do a good job of doing that. So you'll see here we've got the little placard that comes with it, and then I think I grab, if I'm not mistaken on this one, don't I grab the other? Oh, here it comes. So this is the other little trifold thing that you get, and that's the one with the Chicago skyline in the back, and then on the back of it you get the instructions. Should be coming here in a second. And so it's a good little purchase to have. There you go. Spin it around, turn. Oh, so that's the one that you kind of do as a box, and then there you go. Now on the back, it kind of gives you instructions for both tests. So this one on the left here is the sunset test. You just set up the box with just the atmosphere. It tells you where to hold your camera and pull the item back. And then on the other side is the two boxes nested together. Pull your camera back on that one, and you can see the Chicago skyline dip below the horizon. So I think it's an excellent item. That you can go buy the items yourself as well, but it's nice to get it set up for you. The lens is already glued to the sideboard, like everything's done for you. And again, you can go to testingtheglobe.com and get that. And you're helping Sheila too. It was very nice. It came really quick, and like I said, I haven't.
Was it like $40 or something?
I think after everything, after shipping and everything. And then it also comes with a. All right, here says we offer a box of 10 kits for the discounted wholesale price of 20 each. Somebody might even get away with reselling a few of them. And then it comes with a thumb drive I have not put in yet. That is all of Rob Skiba's work, supposedly. So
wow!
And now he's got so much good stuff on lensing and things like that I can't wait to go through it.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I mean, all of his work alone. I don't know if it includes his videos or anything like that, but I mean, Rob did so much, exceptional work. he's just one of those people. He'll never be able to be replaced. But what he did leave us was one hell of a lot of evidence and one fantastic argument for a flat stationary Earth.
Absolutely. And Bob, what did you think? Did you see the couple videos that everybody did making fun of not a professor for him being grossly wrong in the 8 inches per mile squared?
Yeah. In fact, somebody wrote me a letter on that, and I said, you got to be kidding me. And except this guy was saying that it was something else completely different. It was kind of like one of those Dan the Waterman deals, maybe it was him in disguise. I don't know. But yeah, when I saw that, and he's sitting there saying, "Oh, you didn't even try it. You didn't even try it out or look it up or anything like that." And it's exactly what he didn't do,
right?
Or
Exactly.
he would have known.
Exactly. If I could find the TikTok, I'll play it. But somebody did a great TikTok, and this is why people hating on TikTok. I'm like, look, nobody else is doing that kind of work, which was simply taking what is the name of that guy? I Can Science That. He did a video.
I Can Science That. Yeah.
He's a glober, but he at least is honest enough to call people out that are globers when they make gross mistakes, which is what not a professor did. And so some guy made a TikTok of the combination of what Professor Dave was saying and then what I Can Science That was saying, which was him showing that you can absolutely do all the things that the professor says we cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find
it. And Dave's was really good too. I'm sitting there looking for it too, but I didn't see the TikTok on it. I don't usually check out TikTok that much.
And what did Dave? Dave did one. Did he ever release it? I thought it was sitting on private for a while.
No, it's released, and it was just the one that was showing, Dave getting it all wrong. Pretty much like everybody else did, unless that's a copy of the TikTok thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not finding it. I thought I had it in here, but anyway, it's great to see people doing that. We need more people doing that. You could take clips, mix them together, and again, it's not even. I wouldn't even consider it difficult what you're doing. Oh, here it is. It is right here, I think. I'll have you watch this TikTok because it's. Wait, is this it? Hold on, let me see. This might be it. Oh, I don't have sound on.
Good. 8 inches per mile squared. It is time to end a globe talking point.
You can't hear that, Bob?
Good.
Tell me if there's an echo if I try and turn it on.
8 inches per mile squared is not a valid way to measure
Okay,
Earth's curvature.
go ahead and say something.
8 inches per mile squared. None of you have any idea what this means. You can't derive it. You can't calculate anything.
Yeah, it echoes, but it's listenable.
Okay, let's just listen to it.
You can't tell me anything about this.
I'll start it over for you.
It is time to end a globe talking point for good. 8 inches per mile squared is not a valid way to measure Earth's curvature. 8 inches per mile squared. None of you have any idea what this means. You can't derive it. You can't calculate anything with it. You can't make a prediction with it. You can't tell me anything about this value at all.
I like that one. We can't make a prediction with it. Let me see. Austin, let me have you make a prediction. How many inches do you think the Earth curves in 1 mile?
8 inches.
Wow, that was weird. You made a prediction with that 8 inches per mile squared?
Welcome to I Can Science That, where we do honest investigations of everyday science. Anyone who is a glober, if you're out there trying to dunk on flatties, then this video is for you. I'm going to derive the actual formula for the drop rate, the formula that NASA would actually use. So there you have it. I have now derived 4 different versions of the drop equation compare to the 8 inches per mile squared estimate. I've got the distances in miles, and all of the drop distances I have written in feet. If you're 1 mile away, the 8 inches per mile squared will give you 8 inches, and that comes out to 2/3 of a foot. So that's that. How does that compare to our actual values? Here's the actual amount of drop distance according to these different equations, and we can see that's super close. I mean, that's within tiny fractions of a distance. And so at 1 mile, it's fine. How far? Let's go 5 miles. We'll go about 5 miles, and we'll see.
Notice the 8 inches per mile squared actually undercuts.
Here's the approximation.
Gives less
That's still
curve.
Pretty darn good. It's 100th of a foot is how far off that is. At 10 miles, the drop is still pretty good. Look at that.
You can't calculate anything with it. If you understood math, you would immediately see that this squared on miles is totally out of place. That's because this is a parabolic approximation. This is for doing calculations with a parabola. As you can see, the Earth is not shaped like this.
Like, that's not a... How is that? Is that the only parabola? Is that? Can't be extended, can't be bent out or anything. It's only this thing here. He just lowers this shape down on the Earth. Earth's not shaped like that. No, it's not.
It's for doing calculations with a parabola. As you can see, the Earth is not shaped like this.
But what if we're doing like a longer observation? We're going to go out further. Let's go out to 50 miles. So out at 50 miles, the actual value is there, and depending on which method you use, it's...
Again, the 8 inches per mile squared airs on the side of the globe.
Not even a foot, half a foot. From this one, based on arc length, which is my favorite, I'm off by like half a foot.
You can't calculate anything with it.
Over 50 miles. I'm going to say that's a pretty good estimate. If 50 miles away you're only off by half a foot, that's pretty good. I'll accept that.
Well, I'm sorry, friends. Those people are doing incorrect math, or lying, or both.
Or neither.
You're counting on the fact that you won't do any math at all to check up on them.
That's what Bob's talking about. Is this guy just said, you're counting on the fact that you won't do any math at all to check up on them. And the one person who didn't do any math to check up on it was Professor Dave. That's hilarious.
Let's push it now. Let's push it out to 100 miles. Surely this approximation is no good at 100 miles. Here we go. The actual value, 6668 feet. And the estimated value, 6667 feet. We are now off by, oh my gosh, it's over a foot. At 100 miles, it's off by a foot. That is a darn good estimate.
Wow.
8 inches per mile squared is not a valid way to measure Earth's curvature.
So yeah, if somebody is telling you that estimate only holds over short distances, that estimate is shockingly good. Okay, but that's still only 100 miles. Let's go nuts. At 1,000 miles, here's our estimate based on 8 inches per mile squared. And here are our actual values depending on how we sliced it. I think you'll find that's still pretty decent. How decent is it? I've made a little chart. Let's cut away to that now, and I will show a graph of what we found, and we'll see our 8 inches per mile squared sitting right in here, and all the way out to 1,000 miles. This is a pretty good approximation. 1,000 miles, maybe that's not far enough. Let's push it. Let's see what happens if we just go all out. And this is what we get. Interesting thing for me here is that the horizontal length method and the arc length method diverge by more than the arc length method does against the 8 inches per mile squared method. The takeaway here that was absolutely eye-opening for me is that the 8 inches per mile squared estimate is really, really good.
Well, I'm sorry, friends. Those people are doing incorrect math, or lying, or both. But maybe a portion of you will have the courage to accept that you've fallen for a hoax. It's not that big a deal. Many of us have fallen for hoaxes or been manipulated at one time or another, myself included. Just admit that to yourself and walk away.
Anyway, not a professor. Again, blowing his shit in the bed. What are you gonna do? Shitting the bed. All right. Oh, you guys won't want that down. That's why you don't want to.
Exactly. And one other thing, I think I'm sharing my screen, Jeran.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Do I have to click on something nowadays?
The
new.
Let me make sure I've got the right thing up here.
I just see a black screen. Anybody else?
All right. Let me say stop sharing. I'll try it again. Confirm stop sharing.
Like Kyle's
share
there.
screen.
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Welcome.
Hey there. Good to hear from y'all. Good to be back.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. How about now? Can
Now
you
I see it. Yep.
All right. So now the one thing that he didn't include is these two methodologies. Now, he said he put his 4 methodologies on that he liked. The Sagitta is the one that Kirk did it with. And then, of course, there's the AutoCAD calculation as well. And I just think that it's super interesting that the 8 inches per mile squared turned out to be almost a precise medium for all of the other 6 figures, right? So just because they've used the actual so-called, correct calculations, they didn't agree with each other, right? They disagreed with each other, which also disagreed with the Sagitta, which also disagreed with AutoCAD. But when you look at them and average them all out, the 8 inches per mile squared appears to be the most accurate.
Yeah, up to 1,000 miles for sure. And you'll never need more than that when you're just doing measurements because you can't see that far. So
that's right. And we're never going to go over 1,000. I mean, yeah.
And that is where, that's where they're all lost is they say that we're doing it for the globe, but we're not. We're doing it for the section of the arc that you can see, and it's spot on for this section of the arc. And why wouldn't you use the simplest mathematical? I mean, why would you go for the most complicated formula you can get when doing for a section of an arc? You would pick, be it a globe, be it a, any way you're looking at it, you would pick the section of the arc for accuracy and use the easiest formulation. That's common sense.
Here's the problem with these guys, and I consider them like Pinocchio, right? I think Pinocchio is a good description because Pinocchio is not a real boy. He's a wooden boy, and he can't think for himself, and he can't do whatever he wants. He doesn't have his own beliefs because he's controlled by a puppeteer. He's a puppet. And that's what these guys are. They're all Pinocchio. They're not real boys. They don't have real thoughts. They don't have real beliefs. So when you have something like the 8 inches per mile squared, it was never taught to Professor Dave. So he thinks, because it was never taught in school, it must be wrong. So he doesn't even have to look into it because it's not what he's been sold as his beliefs. This is why when they bring up transgenderism or when they bring up the vaccine or anything, that you already know what their position is because they don't take positions. They don't make their beliefs known. They don't have beliefs of their own. Their beliefs are given to them from above. So it's just like Pinocchio. And, if you think about Pinocchio, how does he become a real boy? Well, he finally decides to trust his own science, his conscience, and to listen to that inner voice. And once you do that, the inner voice's name was Jiminy Cricket, which is pretty amazing that its initials are JC. But once you listen to that inner voice and you start following it, that's when you get to become a real boy, although I wouldn't hold my breath for any of these guys to become real anytime soon.
What I see here is when Robotham picked this equation, it was because it gives the globe the benefit of the doubt over all the other equations. This is the one that curves the least. This is what I do all the time when I'm testing something or this. I test it to the minimum, and that's what I'm testing.
Right, or you always give the globe
if it matches the minimum.
That's why when we do distance measurements or something, and we are 12 miles, let's say, take it at 10. So you're always giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
But when we're talking about fractions of an inch to maybe a few inches to less than a foot,
right?
Up to 1,000 miles, what difference does it make? It's pointless. They're all right in the ballpark with each other. So now we've got it verified through the 4 that I Can Science that did, through the Sagitta, through AutoCAD's, computer-aided drafting calculations that are built into it, right? And, that's one of the last things I said to that guy that wrote me the email is, why don't you go ahead and write AutoCAD and tell them how they've got the curvature formula all wrong? They could probably use a good laugh,
Really?
It's absurd.
And the one thing that you want to just be careful of is just remember that you do have to take into account the observer's height and the height of the item above sea level. So, if you're just doing, we're just observing 10 miles, then you can do 10 times 10 times 8 and then divide that by 12 and you'll get your feet. But you can't just say then, now we're going to go out and look at that distance and make calculations on the items we see because if you're 30 feet high or 50 feet high, that's going to change everything. So just remember to take those into account. The calculators usually will ask you your position. And I'm pretty sure this is correct. I should ran it by somebody, but I'm pretty sure it's correct, right? If the item that you're looking at is, say, 15 feet above sea level and you're 15 feet above sea level, you can just take yourself as 30 feet high, correct? Kyle, is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Thought so. It's the same. Ends up being the same.
Yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely true. And so anyway, our formula is good. And the thing that they do is they sit there, they're the ones that blatantly, openly cheat. They sit there and throw on this standard refraction variable on there. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Oh, I know where it came from. I know where it came from. They went out and did observations a lot, assuming the globe. And then they had a predetermined window where they would only take observations or measurements within that window. And so when they get these observations that show the radius value would be way too big, they literally just disregard them entirely and throw them out. And then they get a weighted mean and average out how much off they still are after cheating, and it's roughly 15%. So they call that standard refraction.
Awesome. How about this? How about half the time when they do parallax measurements, they get negative parallax, and you know what they do with it? They change it to positive.
Yeah, they renormalize it.
Jeran, they'll mark it as a 0, and they don't put it on the actual data sheet. They put it in the merge or the ledger to the side.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah,
because negative parallax disproves everything. And you know, if it's a one-off, okay, but they're getting it about half the time.
Stars do it. Yeah, it's only certain stars that do it. It's not all of them at the same time.
Right.
So it totally was the heliocentric model. And who was that? James Bradley, I think, in the 1830s figured this out. So they've known about this forever.
Yeah, and they even have, I found a Harvard paper that says, you know, what to do with negative parallax. And it basically tells them whenever you get a negative number, round it to a 0 and then put that in. It's basically like just take the negative out. Oh, great. We can do that.
It was because right after your video, I watched the video as soon as it came out, and I went and checked it, and it was all there, all that stuff at NASA.
Oh, really?
And I went back a couple months later to show somebody, and it was all gone. All that stuff on James Bradley that you had and all that stuff.
Wow, really?
All that whole article. Yeah, that's another one of those where you change the internet.
Yeah, this is why we have to take screenshots of all this stuff and save it. I'm always doing this all the time, and that's why it's priceless to get it on video and talk about that there, so everyone else can see it and say, it's all documented.
I want to show
this is why censorship was such a big deal for them. Like Dave, Professor Clown Show Dave, goes on there and he says all this just blatantly wrong. We just objectively refute it as nonsense, show that what we use gives the globe the benefit of the doubt, and that is objectively the proper calculation, but it's censored so he can just keep on saying that he won over and over. Or just like how he just explained the problem with parallax. But if you Google, how do we know that the Earth's not geocentric? It'll say stellar parallax is one of the things that debunks geocentrism, when the truth is that they actually get readings that would debunk heliocentrism and they have to change them. So it's like the censorship is the only thing keeping it alive.
Yeah, exactly. The cosmic microwave background, and these are modern day tests, right? We're talking about the MIT study that Max Tegmark, the professor there, did, because they kept doing these scans, and they did multiple scans of this, right, to find out, the layout of the universe. And it kept coming back that Earth was at the center of the universe. And so they finally did this end all be all. And of course, this is all covered, by the Principal movie. And sure enough, and Max Tegmark didn't know what to think, and even Lawrence Krauss said, well, it would seem to indicate that the Earth is at rest and in the center of the universe.
Yeah.
All of our tests, every single test that has ever been done by mainstream science, by amateur science, and when I say amateur science, I mean the tests like we've done, F.E. Core's done, Jer's done, all the people that have done curvature tests. Every single one of them has come back with no curvature, right? No motion, no curvature. And because of the fact that they, find that position untenable, they just simply ignore it. They use petitio principii, or the begging the question fallacy, and say, well, we're just going to ignore that. And, it doesn't matter that every single scientific test, both amateur and professional, that has been done for over the last 100 years has shown a stationary flat Earth. We can't have that. We're just going to have to ignore it.
That's literally what my presentation is about. It's so funny.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just wanted to show. Can I show parallax real quick to show why it's a joke when it comes to star distances? And remember, this is the way that they know all the distances. So parallax in real life will work because let's say that there's a river here and we don't know the length across it. Okay, so there's the river and then there's the other side, but we don't know the length across it. So we're like, what is that length? Well, parallax works because if we know this baseline, so this blue line down here, if we knew that length, then we can find an item over here, and let's say there's a pillar here or something, and we can get whatever this angle is here and versus this angle here, and then you can, do your angles, and then once you have the side.
Jeran, is it me, or you're not showing it on the Skype, but you're showing it on the broadcast?
I need to share it on Skype then.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. I'm just not going to do sound. There we go. So then when you have those two angles and a baseline, then you can come up with the Pythagorean theorem, and you can figure out the length. So if you needed to know the length of these sides here, you can do that. Or if you needed to go like this to get the length of the river, you could pick an item here and then do parallax that way. So it makes sense because we can go and measure and make sure those things work. Here's how they do it with the stars, and you're going to like this. So here's our sun, supposedly, and to figure out their baseline, what they do is they take the Earth's orbit 6 months apart, and they say, well, okay, so we're here. Oops, I need my pen. Thank you. So the Earth is here, and then 6 months later, it's here. And so they say, okay, that's our baseline. So now we've got a baseline of 186 million miles would be their baseline. Okay, let's bring that down a little bit. All right, 186 million is our baseline here. Then what they have to do is they have to take distant stars. So remember back here we have some stars and they're littered throughout here. Okay, so when they draw this on the screen for you, when they show you, NASA shows you or things like that, here's what they do. They take parallax and they describe it like I just did. They say, okay, well, with this star, when we're here, we measure this way and we say, okay, that's the background star there. And then when they come over here, they measure and say, nope, now the background star is here. So from there, they can then get the length of the sides of the triangle and the angles, and they feel like, okay, this is what they show you. But let me show you what it is in reality. In reality, the angles are at minimum 89.9999. Okay? This is their angle that they say they can calculate. So remember what an 89.99 angle would look like. It would look like this. Straight up as could be. Okay, that's the angle to the star. And then when they're over here, now the angle is here. This is how ridiculous it is. Now, if you think about it, if those angles are 89.999, eventually those lines will touch. The two blue lines I just drew, which is outrageous to think. Think of what 89.9999 degrees would look like. Think of how hard it would be to calculate and show 1 degree. If it was 89 degrees and you're showing that just 1 degree off on both sides.
It's ridiculous.
It's a joke. And that's the only way you can come up with those numbers. It's I found a calculator once where you I might be able to find it right now, where you put in your angles and the distances, and you just realize right away the problem. And then a milliarc second, is that the name of it? I think it's what it's called, a milliarc second. So an arc second, Bob, is 1/60th, or is it 1/360th?
I think.
It might even be 1/36,000.
A milla would be 1/1000th of that.
Oh, so it's 1/36,000th, right?
Yeah.
So so think about a circle. So here's a circle right here, this pink one, and think about what 1 degree would look like. So you're talking about, here to here is our main item here. It's going to be a little off. There we go. And then your 1 degree is going to be here. So that's basically 1 degree of this circle. Now picture we get real in there and we say, okay, that's 1 degree. Now you're going to separate this 1 degree out 3,600 times. 1/3600th. So you have to now draw 3,600 lines in there and get one little tiny slice for a milliarc second. It's insane that we've given these people this power, that we are so cucked that we all just said, nah, I bet they definitely can see trillions of miles in the sky with their telescopes. They can definitely prove what gases are out above those. And the more I look into it, Bob, what if I said, would this upset you terribly if I said, I'm not even sure that the universe is expanding?
I would bet that it's not.
Yeah.
And in fact, of course, I look at the universe a little bit differently than other people do because I've taken other avenues of study, an alternate history, if you will, of what we are sitting on and who the players are and stuff like that. which, I don't say that that's 100% accurate, but it's something that I found to be credible. It resonates with me. And so, but the basics still match. I mean, the Earth is flat, it's non-stationary, it's not moving, all of that stuff. And yeah, they take every single liberty they can, and it's ridiculous. And not only that, when you're talking about refraction and standard refraction, going back to that for just a second, it's like I have never ever seen refraction go down. Not yet, not in anybody's test. Every laser test that we've ever seen that showed any refraction showed a blatant rise of the beam, not a falling of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, so how can you say this is standard for it to go down? It's not even normal for it to go down, let alone standard. It's absurd.
So just showing here so you can see I'm not making it up. When I went and looked this up right now, where's browser? So again, this is what they're showing you. This is why they show this to children, is if somebody says, well, how do we know the angle to the stars? Then they say, well, here's the object and here's your two viewpoints. And when you see them, the background changes. So now you know that it's changed and we can figure out the distance. But again, are these angles from the viewpoint 89.999 degrees? What if they drew straight lines from here and told people, oh, see how the background changes? People would be like, no, it doesn't change at all. It's insane to me that we have allowed them to get away with that. And they come across as being so smart. Nobody dares ever question them because you didn't study astronomy. So how could you dare make an assumption or make a claim on it? It's insane.
Well, it's the same thing with Professor Dave and his parabola. The size of his globe Earth was like 10 times the size of the parabola.
Right.
If he would have shrunk down that globe Earth and put it in there, yeah, it would have fit nice and snug right in that little curve right there.
Yep, would have fit perfectly. Yeah, it's crazy. And I think I've seen before too, and I'll see if I can find exactly where it says it, that you can't even use Listen says you can here. The smaller distance, I've heard that it says you can't use stellar parallax. I'm sorry, you can't use parallax for items that are close, like the planets. Yet they use it for the stars. What? It's like, no, they say that. I'm trying to remember what it is. They say that you can't use it for. Yeah, I think that they can't use it for the planets because they're too close. But think about it. I can use it out front of my house, so I can use it when things are really close, but I can't use it when things are like a planet close. But I can use it when things are trillions of miles away. You got to be kidding.
Not just because if it's a trillion miles away, then like even though it basically doesn't change at all, they can say it is still significantly changing.
And they'll even tell you that, oh, well, not with our eyes. It takes like they say it takes a special telescope. Well, who's the person that's doing those measurements? Where can I go and verify? I've never heard somebody tell me that they've made a parallax measurement of the stars. Ever. Who's in charge of that? When does that happen? Do we go every year and redo it and check it? Or is it just something we assumed from the last 400 years?
It's just an assumption.
Yeah.
You don't see that data. I mean, you would think that that kind of stuff would come out. We have an ephemeris that gets released every year. But no, it's not showing any progressive parallax anywhere. So, and if you guys don't have an ephemeris, they're not that expensive. Somebody was nice enough to send me this big old huge ephemeris book. And they just don't do that. They don't show that. And not only that, if they did, they could model it. They wouldn't be hiding it in like your program that you use. I use Starry Night. What is it you use, Jeran?
Solarium.
Solarium, yeah. So they took that out, so you can only advance maybe a couple hundred years.
Oh yeah. Now it's well, that one they got rid of completely. That was I can't remember the name of the planetarium I used to use. Yves.planetarium or something like that. I think Stellarium does have it move, but it doesn't move 70 degrees. I did want to talk to you guys about that, though, speaking of that, because I know Austin was there. Austin, what did you think about your good buddies, the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. I found out that apparently a cube was put in there in 2014. The Ethiopian calendar is 2014, and people were saying they're trying to start this as the age of reason because they claim that's when the new age begins and blah, blah, blah. Then there was the fake story about they found like Quaaludes in a rock and roll album and a Playboy magazine and a time capsule, but that was actually parody. From my understanding, they now claim that they didn't find anything there and blah, blah, blah. So
let me ask you, when you went, was there security there?
Yeah, dude. When we were parked there, we went at night one time to get time lapse. through the hole of Polaris, and we were there for maybe 2 hours waiting for it to be clear and dark enough, and a cop came and asked us what we were doing. So I know for a fact that they surveil that place super tight. There's cameras all over the place, and the sheriff came and asked us what we were doing there after 2 hours or an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, they're saying that people were saying it was lightning strike, and others say people bombed it. It's like, and then they had the pictures from of the explosion itself. Well, how can you have that and nothing else? I mean, what are they trying to say? I mean, are they trying to make it sound like somebody blew it up, or I'm totally confused. I have no idea even what they're trying to say.
They're claiming that someone put an explosion on it and blew it up.
They demolished the entire thing afterward?
They've got video of a guy running up to it, or a person running up to it, and then running away, and then it blew up, and then a silver sedan driving away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part. Okay, so there is more to it.
Yeah,
they demolished the whole thing after it. I heard something about safety reasons. They destroyed something, but was that just the rubble, or did they knock everything down?
They knocked it all down.
Everything down?
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there was a lot of takes on some people. I was watching Jay Dreamers, and he's coming out saying, well, these aren't really necessarily bad things. And it's like they're advocating to hold the population at 500 million. But they didn't say to go out and do anything about it. And yeah, that's technically true. But those sayings and what was on there is largely left up to a big degree of interpretation. And I've heard both sides of the story. Some people saying they're incredibly evil. They're like the 10 commandments of Satan, type evil versus, other people. And I was surprised Jay Dreamers took this. He goes, no, this sounds pretty reasonable to me. And, I see it from both sides too, but, I can't believe for 1 second that they actually meant any of that for the good of mankind,
No, dude, it's the rules for once they get rid of the useless eaters are gone. There are rules to run the world after that. It's literally eugenics. It's not even close.
There's a book written by Thomas Paine. He wrote it after he wrote Common Sense. He wrote a book called The Age of Reason, which is all about getting rid of the people that aren't needed anymore. Now that we have all these machines and things doing stuff for us. And this was written a long time ago. But yeah, Thomas Paine wrote The Age of Reason, and it's not good. It's really not good. So when you hear Age of Reason, you think, oh, that's good. That sounds enlightened. No, it's all about eugenics and things like that.
Let's all rebuild society in like that perfect dystopia, right?
Well, yeah, it's like get rid of us, and then they think they'll create a utopia for themselves. Like that's the whole idea, and it's like, oh, avoid useless laws and petty officials. But we don't get that luxury, right? That's just for once we're gone. It's clearly not. And then the security footage, it blew up on like 4:03:33.
Mm-hmm.
So get out of here. I mean, they
just demolished it right after, like within an hour. It's like I'm about to take the whole thing down.
Yeah, exactly. Natural law says they have to put it out in front of everyone, and so now everyone knows what the Georgia Guidestones are, and everyone now knows what they said. So
that's insane. And they know the guy that I forgot the acronym he used. His name. What was his name that he used?
RC Christian.
Yeah, RC Christian was what they actually traced it back to the guy that was using that handle. And he was a eugenicist. He was good friends with he was a Mason and a eugenicist, and acting like they had this interest in taking care of the world, and we're just killing it and all that. And while I will agree with that to some degree, it's not the common people that are doing that. It's the big corporations who are raping and pillaging the land, and they are trying to lay the blame on the common people. Where they get all the profit, they make all the profit, they rape and pillage the land, they blame us for it, and then they want to get rid of us. It's just pathetic.
And that place is actually it's really creepy, but when you go look at the hole, dude, you can literally only see Polaris in it. It's pretty incredible. It's cut at the perfect diagonal length.
So that's why they got rid of it, right? I mean, because if you think about it, if it's supposed to move 1 degree every 70 years, then you figure it's got to move a half degree in 35 years, and it's been 35 years, right? Or 42 years. So it already should have moved a half degree, and all you need to do is have somebody who has a photo of 2 different times of that star through there and prove that it doesn't move. So they had to take it.
Well, that's what's tricky, actually. So trying to get the picture through it is tricky. You can get the time lapse where it'll show you it's the center, but to really see Polaris, you have to go look with your naked eye. Like, I could not get my P900 to get the star.
Really?
Maybe a telescope. I didn't have a telescope, so.
No, you're just like the ISS. They don't have a telescope either. It's all right. It's not important.
So, but it's just crazy because it is a compass, a clock, and a calendar. It's obviously geocentric architecture, and they've now put it in front of the whole world, where we all knew what Georgia Guidestones was for a long time, but now everyone knows what it is. So I don't know. That's kind of how I look at this, is like they did it on purpose.
So I've got a weird question here that I'm still trying to figure out in my head. Okay, so I'm just looking again at this stellar parallax thing and see if this makes sense. So this is, of course, this is what I was laughing at. This is what they show people, so people think this is what's going on. That look how much they have this foreground star versus the background star changing. Oh, that's really easy to come up with angles, but the real angles are 89.999 degrees. So these lines should be straight up, and it would be ridiculous. People look at that like, how would you ever figure out that actual angle? But I started thinking about, okay, why is there any measured change? If let's pretend that there is one, would there be one on a flat Earth? So if we're talking about 6 months later, so you're moving from here to here in the globe, but in our model, there would be no movement. Let's say we took our observation from Denver, Colorado, and then we take it 6 months later. Wouldn't the stars have adjusted slightly above your head? Or would they can't be exactly where they were 6 months ago. Would they?
The stars typically, no, the planets.
Yeah, planets will be way different.
The planets definitely change.
Right, but they're saying what they do is they wait 6 months, and then they take their measurements from position 1, then they take their measurements from position 2, and then they figure out the angles. But on a flat Earth, if you took 6 months later the same measurement, I'm just wondering, how would the stars be identical? They wouldn't be. So there might be a little change.
Well, yeah, stellar parallax doesn't debunk geocentrism. That's just a misnomer anyway.
Right.
Because actually, just like with the neotectonic system, you could actually have movement of the sky relative to the sun, and it would do the same thing. And that's assuming a sphere, which you obviously don't have to do.
Right.
The fact that the cycle in the sky, if there's any type of gradual change, that doesn't prove that the Earth is moving. That's just a misnomer. Google will tell you that to this day, though. It'll tell you that retrograde, stellar parallax, Jupiter's moons, that this all debunks geocentrism, and that's just patently false, which is, the best way to go is just to get the top level astrophysicists saying it themselves and then just in the conversation. But so I don't know, because what the Glober's going to do is they're going to show you like a time lapse. They're going to show you a GIF that has like 1987 and 1998 and all these different, and show this alleged slight movement of the stars. That's
right.
their
One of the things that they don't ever take into consideration, and that we have found out since then, is the parallax has been largely, like redshift. When they look at things and they do redshift models on them, and green shift, blue shift, when the colors actually change phase, is debunked basically because they don't ever take into consideration that magnetic fields will cause things to shift positions like that as well. And there are definitely strong magnetic fields all over the place up there.
Yeah.
That's what the Faraday effect actually is and stuff like that. And again, like I said, guys, these are the kind of subjects that we want to start covering on basics, so that you can come back and argue these points when somebody comes at you with a ridiculous argument like this. Because they just don't hold any water.
Look what they're saying here. They say Tycho Brahe was able, even without a telescope, to measure angles as small as 0.005 degrees. But even no stars with this small annual parallax were found. They're still not. Calculate how far the stars should have been from the sun. Then it says here, Cassini was able to measure angles 0.001 degree, but he also found no parallax. If the stars were so far away, it would mean that the space was incredibly empty. Then between 1830 and 1840, 3 astronomers, Bessel, Struve, and Henderson, measured the first ever annual stellar parallax a star in Cygni appeared to have a parallax of 0.0001 degree. It says, thus enabling the first determination of the distance to a star, because this is imagine that angle. It's such a joke. Who's measuring these angles?
That's completely absurd. You cannot derive crap from that.
No. And call it
But
fact. And go around teaching people it's fact? Yeah, right.
But dude, think about it. They say that, but then they just came out and admitted Polaris is actually over 100 light years closer than they originally claimed.
They're off by that much.
Yeah, and then Danny Faulkner comes out and says, "Oh yeah, well my calculations still hold, even though they were a full 30% off." I mean, it's like, you know what? I like to put his ass on the hot seat and say, "Okay, Danny, explain how this works to us," and just rip him apart on it. I'd love to do that.
Dude, when you really go down into the heliocentric playbook and like the progression of that, it's insane. It'll wake any honest person up once you really understand what actually has happened and what they've had to evolve the theory into to explain away the Earth being still.
Oh, I agree.
It's crazy.
I think the funniest thing to date, the funniest thing hands down, is that they have completely had to get rid of the geometric horizon. It's like, oh yeah, no, that isn't where the ground should stop your being able to observe any further down. You know, you can't see that. You can't ever see that. It's apparent. It's like, what are you talking about, man? Without a geometric horizon, you know, what is all this geometry based on? Your model demands it, and they've gotten slammed so hard on that they literally now disavow it and act like it's normal.
Yeah, they say you can never see it. So how do you know it's there?
How do you know it's there? You can't see it, you can't measure it, but god dang, it's there. It's like, you idiots. And if people cannot see that, I just don't know what to say. Hopefully there are still people out there with some brain cells left. Kyle, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's hilarious how they claim that the Earth wobbles, and yet all of the, like, we've got the equator, we've got the tropics, they never redraw those lines. You think, the Earth is wobbling, now we got to go redraw those lines. No, they stay the same. So it's just kind of that humongous contradiction.
Yeah, and there's tons of stuff like that, and they're always compensating for it. In fact, Kyle, you put something in the Globebusters group that said, you said, I just went out and took a picture of my shadow. It's pointing southwest. This should be impossible. And from Utah on a globe. And you said on a globe, my shadow should always point northward. And to that, I just have to wonder, have you seen Jeran's response or his demonstration with Google Earth and to the real reason why the Great Circle route exists? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't, but you've got my attention. I really want to see that.
Jeran, you got to pull it up and show them east and west, and then we're going to tell you why the real reason that the Great Circle route exists. It sure as hell isn't what they tell you, though.
Yep, I'll do it right now. I was just checking. So on this calculator, it's showing you I was trying to figure out what a milliarc second is, because so this calculator here shows you minutes, arc seconds, milliarc seconds, and whatever that would be. Ultra.
Well, milli is 1/1000th, so that's what I know about that.
So, but it's because this one here, so seconds of arc is 1/3600th. So
you're changing 2 decimal points each time.
Yes. So when you go back to that drawing I had of where was that at drawing? Here and here. Just showing so that you could see that we're talking about then that's just insane to me. So we're talking about this being a 1 degree, and then this distance here, 1/3600th of that is a arc second. And they're measuring things like that. Or at least this one here, I don't know if they actually have 1 arc second. Does that even calculate?
You have to have a super fine stepper motor on that telescope, which I'm sure they do. But I don't know. Not buying it. I don't think optically you could tell the difference.
Arc second, I think they have like 0.01 arc seconds. That'd be 100 parsecs? Can you do light years? So yeah, light years, you can change that to light years. It's just ridiculous. And every little bit makes such a big difference because you're talking about such a ridiculously small piece of the pie. I don't know who sat around. They must have just sat around and decided on the distances, because there's no way you could be accurate doing that. And then this is the problem with science, right? Then they go forward. And then one other thing I wanted to show, and then we'll move on, is this is a paper I found from, oops, I'm on the wrong page here, over here. This is a paper I found from the Royal Proceedings of the Royal Society. But how about this article from 19th May 2010? These are the kind of articles that come out and they just get swept under the rug. Nobody wants to admit it. Does gravity operate between galaxies? Observational evidence reexamined. And it's talking about the redshifts that I talked about with Edwin Hubble. Is that really happening? This and that. But if you get down here and say, let's see, where's the to shed light on the question of redshifts and apparent magnitudes of a supernova are reanalyzed in a Cartesian frame of reference emitting gravitational effects. The redshift is described as the relativistic Doppler, which gives the recession velocity when the light was emitted. If this has not changed, the distance reached and the luminosity follow immediately. This simple concept fits the observation surprisingly well with the Hubble constant. It appears that the galaxies recede at unchanging velocities. So at the largest scale, there is no significant intergalactic force. Reasons for the apparent absence of an intergalactic force are discussed. If there's no intergalactic force, there is no dark energy, there is no dark matter, there is no expanding universe. It's
and
all
how do we expand
horseshit.
order in the universe then, if that's not true?
How do we what?
How do we explain any order in their universe if that's not true?
Design.
Yeah,
it's pretty much
yeah. It's just, yeah. God designed the lights in the sky to do that, absolutely. But if they're not, in other words, we can't even calculate a 3-body problem. Red's rhetoric, you can do 4, 5, or 6. But even if you go beyond Red's rhetoric and get God's supercomputer, I don't think that it could calculate all those gravitational variables, changing over millions of light years, billions of light years, especially when you got black holes running through with infinite gravities. I mean, that it's just so ridiculous.
The only reason I think that they must do something, though, is because the reason that they had to implement dark matter is because they say that the stars on the outer edge of galaxies are moving faster. So,
well, yeah, and then there was only 3% of the mass needed in the galaxies discovered in 33, and
Right.
so yeah, there had to be more substantive quality to space.
So this is the
because
whole
of-
joke about science, though. In science, when a theory doesn't match observation, you throw away the theory. You don't invent something we've never observed and just say it's there. That's what you do when you need gravity.
But that's what they did.
Yeah, because they need gravity. They can't. You can never get rid of gravity. So therefore, when you look into space and gravity's not working, you just invent other things to make gravity work. Because the alternative would mean getting rid of gravity. Then how is the Earth a sphere? Look at this, though. This Royal Society. Let's say I wanted to read this paper. It's only $29.95 for just the article, and $227 if I want to read the issue of the Proceedings of the Royal Society. So it's pretty cheap to get a article read here. That's just insane to me that they would charge that kind of money. And people, it's like science is being paid for by our tax money for the most part, and we can't even review the papers that they submit. We can't even look at it without paying a bunch of money. It's crazy.
Nope. And it's a bunch of lies anyway. They probably don't want anybody that's not brainwashed to debunk them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what their peer review is so beautiful at. And they describe peer review as if it's this saving grace. But again, if you have an organization of 400 people that all believe that cats are masters, and then people have to write papers about thinking, no, I don't believe that cats are masters. Well, if you try and get that paper passed to those 400 people who've spent their whole career improving that cats are our masters, they're not going to let that paper through. So it's the same thing. It's actually more gatekeeping than anything. It's just gatekeeping. It's making sure that only the science, and then what it forces you to do as a scientist is if you want funding and you want to get some new experiment picked up or funded, well, you can't do something novel. You can't do something new and fresh because nobody's going to fund that. What's going to be funded is anything that builds and supports the current model. That's what they're going to fund. And then nobody's ever going to go double check it either.
It's hiding behind the paywall. When you hide behind the paywall, it's a really easy way to discourage anyone from disagreeing with you from actually getting in.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, nobody's going to get in. It's even if we wanted to read this, I can't read it. And so it's a good way to just keep it, I can't read it. So the only person who's going to actually read this is somebody who has credentials, which is going to be some scientist who's going to be reading it to build off of it. Because there is no money in debunking current beliefs. They'll make you think it is, right? They'll be, go prove the flat earth, you'll be rich. Yeah, right.
And of course, the guys in the Electric Universe, the Thunderbolts project, even though they're still looking at, the universe as a heliocentric model, they see it as an electric construct, but because the powers that be don't want that freaking obvious fact leaking out anywhere, they act like they don't even exist, or they, downplay them and all that. And this is an organization that's got, dozens and dozens of scientists and engineers, and there's a ton of people in on the Thunderbolts project, and they will look at stuff like this. I've played several of their videos that will summarize a lot of the mainstream's arguments, and none of them make any sense. Like, you have the characteristics of a Big Bang universe versus the universe that has black holes in it. They're completely non-commensurate with each other, and they give all the reasons why. And, what do you get from mainstream? Crickets, right?
Yeah.
So, they just get pounded on every level because their people don't even know what's going on.
No.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
You would think, like, somebody who writes this article, right, who's writing this article on how do scientists know that dark matter exists. So you'd expect they must know. They're about to write an article about it. If you read this article, it's the most hilarious thing you've ever seen, because remember, it cannot be observed. Okay, it's never been observed. Yet when you're talking about what it does, you have to say you observed it, because how else can you say anything about something if you can't observe it? And yet it says here, if you look at, and I'll find where it says. We'll start here. Some scientists, especially astrophysicists, spend a great deal of time generating theories about what dark matter could be. Scientists know that dark matter does not emit light from any part of the electromagnetic spectrum. They know that? Okay. If it doesn't exist, also my make-believe Jeran particle also does not emit light from any part of the electromagnetic spectrum. But dark matter has been observed to be influenced by gravity. Wait, it's been observed? Okay, remember that, because right here it says, yet there is matter in the universe that does not emit light or in any part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which means that we cannot observe it. So we cannot observe it. However, here, it's been observed to be influenced by gravity. Astrophysicists are still unsure what dark matter is exactly. However, they know what dark matter is not by observing, again, now we're observing, the way it behaves compared to other materials. We know that dark matter makes up 80% of the total mass of the galaxies. This means that there is 4 times more dark matter compared to regular matter. If dark matter is so difficult to observe, why do scientists believe it actually exists? It's not difficult to observe. It never has been. There's quite a big difference there. The evidence to support the existence of dark matter is extensive, and we will explore 3 main examples in the following. And again, you can go through these, and it keeps talking about observing things that have never been observed. Here is, this is the one I was telling you. From the distance to the center of the galaxy, here's the velocity, they say, of stars. What it should be versus what it actually is. So what it should be that things closer to the center of the galaxy spin fastest. Things on the outer edge should spin slowest. And yet they find that the drop-off is way worse than it should be. So it says here that the A line, which is up top, that's the actual observed velocity of stars that are far from the center of the galaxy is greater than what was predicted by scientists. The data indicates that there is a large amount of mass present in the outer part of the galaxy. It doesn't even make sense. They're saying, there must be some mass on the outer part of the galaxy. Here's what it all comes down to. Gravity doesn't work. Gravity doesn't work.
It's not that it's difficult to observe. It simply doesn't exist.
Right.
So, it's really hard to see this shit that we made up completely. We have no proof of whatsoever. We can't tell you anything about it other than because of the way we think gravity is behaving, it has to be there. So... But it's really difficult to observe. It's like, how about it's difficult to observe because it's not there?
Right.
Jesus.
It's ridiculous.
I've got a theory that's got a major hole in it, so I'm just going to invent something to fill that hole.
That sounds like science.
Totally.
I think Feynman would be very happy with that. Be rolling over.
And you're gonna love this one, Kyle. When Jeran pulls this up on Google Earth.
I'll pull that one up.
Personally, I think this is one of Jeran's greatest finds ever because of what it implies and what it tells us. First of all, if you think about the sun, and the sun, if it was 93 million miles away from us and 875,000 miles across, there is no way that any part of the earth would be not directly in front of the sun, right? The only reason it looks much smaller is because we're so far away, right? But nevertheless, if light comes in parallel, then it wouldn't be matter if we were on the left quarter or the right quarter or just left of center or just top, it wouldn't matter. the light, we would still be completely, in the sun's light. But what you're going to see in Google Earth, what Jeran's going to do here is he's going to show you what the Globers call the Great Circle routes, right? And they made this up basically so that, for several reasons, but the biggest reason is to make everybody believe that on the equinoxes, right, that everybody can look to the east and see the sunrise and look to the west and see the sunset. And that's because the east and the west are not the same for everybody.
Let me ask Kyle this. Kyle, if you're standing north of me, if you're directly north of me, so you're at 360 degrees or 0 degrees north of me, am I 180 degrees south from you?
You're supposed to be.
Okay, right. So if I'm standing here and you're, exactly 180 south, which is about, that's 170. Oh, wait, we want to see this? Move it over here so you can see. There you go. So that's 180. So then if we save that and then bring it back and do it the opposite, yes, that person who is 180 degrees south of him, whoops, you're supposed to do that, put it down there. There we go. So if this person looks back to the north, that person's exactly 0 degrees north. But east and west don't work like that. So if you would think they would, you would think if this guy is looking to the east and we go 90 degrees, which is going to be there. Okay, so that's 90 degrees. We'll save that. Now you would think that this person looking back that direction, that this person is directly west of them. So for now we go to 270. Oops, I never forget to save. If we go to 270, what's going on here? Close that, back open. Okay, so we go here and then we look at 270 west. You'd think it'd be here, but actually 270 is here. So now you've got this person looking directly east, this person looking directly west, and you can just see how screwed up everything gets. But this is what I think the ultimate reason for that is if we drew a line from, say, okay, save that. Let me just clear these. And this thing always does that. All right. So if we drew a line from like here, and we go straight down to here, okay? And from here, we want to start drawing lines to the east at 90 degrees. So if we go to the very top here, okay, why does that always do that to me? Am I doing something in the wrong order? Okay, so we grab this line here and we go 90 degrees east, and we pull this way back here. Oops. And you'll notice that 90 degrees east is right there. So you'll notice that now, how is that 90 degrees east? Well, now if you start drawing lines from all these locations, they're all, oops, I should have saved that one, but we'll do it next time. So 90 degrees east here is there, and we'll save that. It should go save, and then okay, and then it should just be like that. There we go. And then we go 90 degrees east from here is going to be there. And you'll notice that they all are pointed directly at the equator. So I think that when the sun rises in the east and sets in the west on the equinox, it's not that everybody on Earth is seeing it to their east. It's everybody's east is pointed directly where the sun is at the equator. Does that make sense? So, and then if you go down here and this person looks 90 degrees east, it would also be, oops, why does that keep doing that? Okay, and then we go this one. Now this person looks 90 degrees east, and it's going to be the same thing on the opposite. Now it's going to be there. So you'll notice that all these lines are going to converge at the equator. And here's where people get confused on this is that, yeah, looking that distance, so let's spin it like this so we can see from behind it. Come on. Okay, so if we got down here.
East and west aren't matters of latitude.
Well, they are as long as you're doing a circle, but that's not the way you're looking, right? It's impossible for us to look in a circle. So if we had to stay, the actual real east would be, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Claire. So the actual east would be every time you move this distance, right? You'd have to adjust because north is changing. So your compass would keep correcting you, and you would actually stay on this line if you were walking east, right? It's not straight. You'd actually be doing a curve. You would just never notice it. You just keep walking.
Right. And by the way, those are
the
they're
Tropic
calibrated.
Of Cancer isn't directly east and west. It's actually.
I thought you said that the other day. I saw you say something about it being east and west. No, the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn are circles. So, for instance, you can't stand on the globe this way. Well, how would you have to stand to make it straight? So the best way to look at that, Kyle, is this right here. If you notice that we can see kind of the Tropic of Cancer there, that's clearly a circle. Right? Somebody has to travel in a circle. You can't stand upright there you'd be sideways. So the only line that I believe that exists on the globe that isn't turning, according to them, would be the equator. Right? The equator is not. There would be no turn because you would just keep able to walk upright and come back to where you started. But they tell people all the time, oh, the way we knew it was a globe is because you could travel east or west, walk straight, and you'll come back to where you started. Well, it's not.
I heard that claim about someone on a bike trying to debunk the flat Earth using a bike.
I seen
a long
that
time
video.
ago.
Yeah,
I don't remember it very well.
He just did sticks and shadows, basically.
Yeah. What's interesting about this, Kyle, is when you should play with Google Earth and play with it a little bit, and you'll find that usually, like when the sun rises or sets from us, it's usually about 6,200 miles away from us. Where it's physically at. In other words, a quarter of the way circumference around the globe, right? And that appears to be the vector that the Google Earth uses when drawing these great circle routes. Everything has to intersect back to the Earth. And the reason for that is when people look to what is the East and what is the West, they pull up their Google Earth, and all these declinations, by the way, the magnetic declinations, are all calibrated to bring these directions into your compass the way that they want you to see them. Right.
So think about what's the number one debunk of the AE map that you've heard? What is the one everybody banks on? They say this is the reason the AE map doesn't work. What have you heard?
Australia?
Yeah, right. Okay, so they say that Australia sees the sunrise south of east and set south of west. So again, knowing what we now know, go to Australia. Okay, this is their number one debunk that even flat earthers run around saying it's been debunked. They're just too stupid to get it, and I'm done helping. But, oops, what happened to my... Oh, that thing moved over there. Okay, so if we're down here and you realize that, let's say we are right here in Sydney, and you are going to be looking, remember, east. So let's say they go east. So now what they think is that east is here, this way. But it's not. East would be... Hello, where's 90 degrees? 90 is there. Okay, so if that's east, then when the sun rises south of east, then that's you're not looking at it like you think you are. People are taking their compass and say, oh no, we see it rising south. Well, yeah, but your east is looking towards the equator. So just because something rises, and remember, the sun is coming around here. So if the sun comes from here, the Tropic of Capricorn, and crosses you, well then guess what? That's going to look to you like it rose south of east. And so they say it can't, and then when it sets, they say it sets south of west. But again, go from here, draw it 270 west, which would be here. Save that. So there's that red line. So again, when the sun goes along the Tropic of Capricorn this way, then it looks like it sets south of west.
So you're saying that the sun should never rise perfectly east unless you are on the Tropic of Capricorn on the equinox.
Nope, because
on the solstice. I mean to say on the longest day.
Because on the
not at all
on the equinox, when the sun rises on the equator, all these people are looking east, and they would all see the sun rise to their east because their east is all the same direction. I could keep drawing circles, and they also don't they say like, oh, it's not at the poles. Like the equinox, the sun rises 90 degrees for everybody, but not really the poles? Or is it everywhere on Earth? Do you know what they say? Bob, I'm not sure if they say it's everywhere or just not the poles. But no matter where on this line we draw 90 degrees.
I think just not the poles, because that would make sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm not sure about that, though, either. So don't quote me on that.
If it's like way like here, and you have to go 90, where would 90 be here? So like up there. So that's 90 from there. Yeah, it still goes. That's just crazy to me. I mean, it's not even close to where you would think east should be that way. See what I'm saying? Like east, we know it's so like.
Can I get you to show Kyle this a different way so he gets
it? Yeah, sure.
It?
Please.
Okay.
And this is still kind of thick and hard for me to understand.
I can tell you're grasping it, but and this might help everybody. Jeran, can you pull up the North Pole view that you have on your globe? You do this so well.
Sure.
And see the circles that you have there. Go ahead and make it small so we see the circles, like the yellow circles going around. A little bit smaller than that, Jeran. You're making it bigger. I guess this works. You know what? That works just fine.
Okay.
That's perfect. Okay, so if you stand on any one of these circles, okay, this is flat or a globe, because a globe, again, you have the curvature to it. So if you look and see where you're standing, if you go east, Jeran, go ahead and see where you're going east, looking at from the top view on it. You're going to naturally drift down, or again,
So
the
like
different
from here?
directions. You're going to drift. Yeah, you're going to drift with
Correct.
the circles. Again, you're going to drift away from the circle because you're not following that curve around.
Right.
So a straight line does not follow the circle any more on the globe than it does on the flat Earth. So Kyle, again, if you look at the rounded and do the lines this way, does that help you? That
See how you'd be doing a circle, right? If you think about it, like
Mhm.
let's pretend there's a pole at the North Pole, an actual pole,
Right.
and we tied a
Mhm.
rope to it. If you tied the rope
This
to the
sounds-
North Pole and
This
started,
sounds familiar to my compass argument about how compasses point to outer space on a globe.
correct.
this is different though, with him with the string on it, holding onto the pole, like going around a maypole and doing it again. If you go off in a direction, in order to stay on that latitude line, you have to keep on turning to the, depending on
Right.
what way you're walking, to the left or to the right, depending on your
Right, because this line here, this red line would
East
be
isn't a straight line; it's a circle. Yeah.
correct.
right.
And here's the
So
sad thing is these guys think there's people out there that think that flat earthers made that up. And they say, oh, you guys are such idiots. East and West are not circles, but on the globe, they're circles. It's not even a flat earth claim. That's how the globe works.
You're looking at the globe right now on
Yeah.
it. And again, the top view that you're talking about reading those latitude lines, you can see they're not there. Now on the equator, supposedly on a globe, that's the only place it would be flat. And we don't have that on the flat Earth, of course. And that would be the only place that, again, it would be able to do it. The circles are not on a cylinder. They're on, again, a globe type of thing. So you have to have that turning along with the walking in order to maintain your direction you're going. So when you're looking to the east to hold that easterly direction according to the shape of it, it's going to take you off naturally. And looking at it from the top down is probably your easiest way.
And what people are confused about with this one is that, okay, so let's say this Arctic Circle here, right? We know it's equidistant from the North Pole at all locations. So again, if you had a pole and you tied a rope to yourself and you started walking east, well, the rope would need to get longer if you were to go off this way, or it's going to keep you in this little circle. And this is a circle you would never notice that you were doing, whether it's in a boat, a car, walking, a plane. This is an entirely too big of a circle. I tell people, if you did a 20-mile freeway that was a circle, if there was like no background that you could see, you would not know you were turning in just 20 miles circle, let alone the Arctic Circle, which is thousands of miles. So, and here's where it gets, let's say we're looking at this Arctic Circle line, this yellow one here. And if we spin this around to where we become human size and we get down here, you'll notice that the line doesn't appear to veer off much of what we would consider, oops, I lost my line there. There we go. Well, let's look at this line here. So, this line here, if you're down on the ground, it's the same exact direction. But really, this line is curving. But if we kept going in this direction, it would be over here. Well, when the sun rises, if the sun rises here, then we're going to call that 90. See? Because you're looking down this line, which this line from here, if it goes off and continues this way, is going to be, there's 88 point, I shouldn't have dropped that. Oh, there you go. So 90 degrees is there. So by the time it veers off, you just don't have time to really pay any attention or notice. Meaning that if this person's down on the ground, they say, well, where did the sun rise from? Well, this line that curves, you'll see it dip this way. And then this line that stays straight at 90 degrees is this way. So the sun rising here, they're going to call that 90 degrees. And you might think that that's a straight line that they're looking at. Well, this is, but not this one that goes that way. So it's definite trickery.
Definite trickery. And remember, Kyle, if the sun was really 875,000 miles across, even at 93 million miles, east would be east everywhere from top to the bottom, pointing at that sun. But because it's not that big, because it's small and local, they have to make it look like it. Well, that's why they came up with this stupid little great circle route thing.
What's the date of the equinox?
The 22nd of like March and
September.
September.
Yeah. See if I can get
this is determining the direction of east based on the way the sun rises instead of going off of a compass. Is that right?
Well, sort of, but they disguise it by calling it a great circle route, which is ridiculous because the Earth is not a ball, but when you add in that curvature that takes it down, so it's like curving down, that's the excuse that they give people. Well, this is how you have to do it, because even if you're on a ball, if you take a string and go from one place to another, the shortest distance is still going to be going right across that string, right? I don't even know where they come up with that.
See, and you'll see here now we're kind of high up, but as the sun rises, is somebody looking 90 degrees, which is, again, I believe this. Did we draw the line or did it leave us? So remember, this is the Arctic Circle line, but if we drew a line from here going 90 degrees, it's going to be pointed directly at the sun on the equinox, which is going to be there. And so again, from a low down view, look how we wouldn't be able to tell the difference. These lines appear to be going in the same direction. Just so happens this one curves and this one's pointed right at the sun. And no matter where we go, if we start moving, oops, I keep moving over here on my, there. As we keep moving here, you'll notice that the sun stays the same. So this is why everybody on Earth sees the sun rise at 90 degrees, not because they're all looking what we would consider east, but because they're all looking at the equator based on the lines that we drew that all go towards the equator, right? So if we went all the way down to,
which is where the sun actually is on the equinoxes.
Right. So this is all the United States. Here's Colombia. So let's go down here in South America.
It's a really slick trick. And the day Jeran discovered that, so many bells went off in my head. And you literally, Carl, you need to play with it. Do you have Google Earth Pro?
It's nice. You can download it for free.
I've got free. Google Earth. It's easy. Yeah.
Pro. I don't know if Google Earth, if there's any difference, but download it and you just run some east to west directions, because you would think anytime you plot a 090 course off of east, that you'd be going east and not southeast, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, it would be northeast. That shouldn't matter. East should be east, but because of the fact on a globe Earth, they want you to think that you're going in a straight direction and you are still actually turning. You have to turn, even if you're going straight east on a globe, you would have to keep turning towards the North Pole to stay on that latitude line, right? Well, because of the fact that we're not on a globe and we are on a flat Earth, well, obviously we have to make those turns physically, right? So what they've done is they've just simply taken and called the sun position. They've modified it so that the sun basically arcs out about 6,200 miles out from your position, and it intersects with the equator around that distance, so that on the equinoxes that it comes where it's supposed to be. I hope that makes sense, but it's really quite brilliant.
This red line that I drew from now South America is also pointing at the sun. And this is their east line, but if we really pull back and see where did I draw that line, you're going to notice that it's peculiar because it's not where you would consider east. Let's spin this around. And so you'll see here, oops, come on, get on. You'll see the line is not pointed east, it's heading towards, and it's actually got to get all the way up here by the equator. So that's where the sun is rising, which is right above the equator, not where we would think, people think this is east. So they would expect the sun to be rising over here. Whoops, where's the equator?
Yeah, because on a globe, remember, Kyle, on a globe, people don't think you have to. If you go east, people will think if you fly east and you dead reckon east, that you're going to go around in a circle.
Right.
But you're not. You're not. You have to continuously keep turning towards the north or towards the south if you're in the southern hemisphere. So
and
that's
probably
and of course the turn is
probably the easiest way to prove the difference between flat Earth and it's just not feasible in reality, right? The idea of, well, if we're up here in the north, we're turning left to go around the North Pole, and when we're down here in the south, we're turning right to go around the South Pole. But the problem with that is that it's such a vast traveling that you wouldn't know, you can't know the difference.
Yeah. And we're not on a ball Earth, so
right. Well, well, let's think about a flat Earth too. I mean, if you go, so say we're looking at a flat Earth map here, looking straight down. So you would have, this is whatever. So in this map here, let's say it's flat Earth, and this is the equator, this yellow line here. So in a flat Earth, no matter what, we're always turning left on a flat Earth. Always going to be turning if we're going east. But on a globe, that wouldn't be true, because if you were on a globe in the south, you would not be turning left, you'd be turning right. But again, I don't know how you would ever calculate that. I know it's a weird thing to say, but no plane can know that it's going straight A plane has a destination. It's going towards something.
And this is why you have to recalibrate every so often your gyro compass to your magnetic compass. Now, remember, first of all, the North Pole isn't where the North Pole is, so therefore, that's one problem. The South Pole certainly isn't where the South Pole is.
South Pole's like out here
and
somewhere.
so not only are they trying to confuse you with these latitude and longitude lines, but then they put declination figures in to compensate for the magnetic fields being where they're supposed to be, right? And you know, it's really, really confusing until you sit down and think it through.
Even then it's confusing.
And even then it's confusing, but you know, once you see it, you're going, oh my God.
Yeah,
you know, but everything is designed to completely confuse and mislead you. And they have done a brilliant job of engineering it.
Yeah, it's brilliant because it's so compartmentalized that really only the people in their individual little categories kind of know what's going on, but they even don't, right? They were just taught how to do it. So really nobody even knows what's going on. It's not every scientist is lying. No, every scientist is doing what they were taught to do and what they think they're proficient at.
I just think about the difference between nautical miles and land miles and about how crazy complex that is and how you're able to, or how you go about in determining your nautical miles versus your land miles and trying to convert all of that over. And yeah.
And then you got your time zones, you know, that's another confusing factor.
Yeah.
That, you know, by the time you get through this, your mind is so diluted with bullshit.
You give up on it.
You know, you give up.
So here's the declination for these locations. But the crazy thing is that when you get down, like here, let's go to Australia. So this is a positive 8, 13. I forget which way it is, but let's say you're looking at your compass. It's pointing you north. You then have to, I'm assuming, so if it's over there, then positive would be, you have to adjust to the right, correct? I think positive east would be right. So you have to turn 12 degrees to your right to actually find true north. Okay, that's not that bad. But you go to different places and you realize here, this magnetic declination is plus 25. Now you have to turn 20. If you're in New Zealand, you have to look at north and then turn 25 degrees. But it gets really bad down here in the south. Watch these ones. When you're down here, here's 116. So that means if you're facing north and it says you have to turn more than 90 degrees, so more than a quarter turn, and that's actually north. And it gets even worse when you get in other places because here's 125, here's 140, here's 150. 150, that means turn around.
Some of it gets as high as 178, which is basically just turn around.
157, 158. Let's see how far we can get here. 138. Maybe I missed it. There's 164. I mean, it's ridiculous. That means that, like Bob said, you're basically turning around. So your compass says north is that direction? Nope. Turn around and look the other direction. That's north. So, I mean, you talk about a nightmare. This is why flights down there don't use globes. They use military, what are they called? Squared off, a grid, a military
grid maps.
Grid maps. Yep. Because they can't, it would be just a nightmare. Imagine flying north and all of a sudden, like, nope, turn around. You're now going south. What? It would be just.
They love to hide the truth in all this complex mess.
They get off on it. They get off on it because it's
and then it's just
fun
these small and simple things that end up debunking everything that they say. And so they have to try to explain things in this really complicated manner to get away with it. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, take a look at my shadow. It's pointing south. And I am north of the Tropic of Cancer here, and there should be no reason on a globe my shadow should ever point south, ever.
Wait, your shadow pointed south when?
I just did this yesterday or the other day. I've got a picture right here in the chat here I sent you. My shadow in the morning pointing south.
What?
In the morning, right?
In the morning.
In the morning,
in Utah.
Right, and I can do the same thing in South Carolina.
Oh, I can do the same thing because the sun rises way north.
It rises way north. I mean, I face north and I watch it rise and go down just because, again, it circles. It circles to the south below me, but that's part of the reality.
But at noon, it would never happen.
Right, at noon it won't happen. That's a problem. But in the morning and night I have the same thing, Kyle.
See, because like here here where I'm at in California, if the sun rises in the north, so it starts coming up over here, then my shadow would be south. Is that what you're saying happens?
Well, you have to tilt that, but you have to remember that the sun, it's never going to go any farther north than the Tropic of Cancer. Even, you can tilt the globe all you want to, but yeah, that's just what the Tropic of Cancer is. That's the farthest point it'll ever appear for solar noon.
Right,
and
but look at it this way: if we turn this way like this, right, and we know that this curves, then if it kind of starts coming up here, isn't it higher than where you are here? Or you're saying it's directly even with this line the whole way? I see what you're saying. I'm actually trying to think about it, because if we look at a flat Earth map this way, let's say this is the equator. Let's say we're in here in the United States, and the
works
sun
perfectly with flat Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you see it farther than I think. But I still don't know if I've ever seen that shadow going south in the morning. I do picture where the sun comes up, and I'm kind of like, oh, well, the shadow would face south, but I don't think I would get a shadow from the sun until it was up high enough that it wouldn't be south anymore.
7 o'clock in the morning. If you're in the mainland United States, you'll see it.
So you're saying here, anywhere in the United States that's north of there, so let's go down here to Colorado or something. And then, so if we're here, and then you're saying so like June 21st?
This was like 2 days ago. I just went out and took this picture.
Have you cross-referenced it with time and date by any chance?
Have I cross-referenced my picture?
Yeah, with time and date, because they're usually pretty accurate on showing the sun direction and the sunrise times and sunset, etc. So you could pin it down and go to your area and look at that, see what it says.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, I still can't see any reason why the sun would ever appear north of me if the sun is south of me.
Okay, so see, Wizard did it. So here's the thing. So well, this is like on the globe, but I'm just saying. So here we are in South Dakota, Nebraska. We're main United States. Now remember, the Tropic of Capricorn is way down, or Cancer is way down here. But look where the sun is. So the sun is going to come. It's on that tropic, but to this person, wouldn't the sun cast a shadow south? I think it would. But that's the globe answer. I'm not sure. I'd have to. I think it works the same way on flat Earth, even better actually. But again, the whole idea of 93 million miles is driving me crazy. 93 million miles that's why it looks like it's closer to us, because this line's way over here, and maybe they don't want to put the sun way out there. It's weird because they also make the sun usually disappear. You can't follow the sun, I think, because it doesn't get where it needs to be in time. Let me see if we go up here. Maybe this one doesn't disappear. Oh, see how it disappears? Because it needs to start setting already, so then it disappears, and then you just need to flip around to the west, and it will already be over there ready to set. Now when you come in, it's going to come out of the sky like a... Oops, didn't go far enough. Where is it? I lost it. Where did you go, son? Let's go down to the horizon. Up there it is. So now we pull, back. So yeah, they have to have it disappear because it doesn't get where it needs to be fast enough. What is Dave saying? I don't know. Oh yeah, I did see that. What's this? Did you guys see this whole issue with the, it's not on there. Look at the time and date for the 99% sunlight impossible globe image. They use a small local sun. It's not on there. Go look. What?
What a bunch of bullshit that was.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
What is with that?
Oh my God. I'm not even sure what to think of that. It doesn't look like, maybe they're adjusting it strictly per capita, which is almost what it sounds like they're saying. But even per capita, I don't think that's possible to get 99% of the population. That would mean that the very most depopulated areas of Earth would be off of the sunlight grid. But I know exactly. I saw that.
So far as like over 60% of it be lit up, right? So
they were counting in twilight and everything else, and that all the gradations of it. But still, I looked at it, didn't think, but the way on the map, it did look like it could capture about that much of the population because it had all.
So where do I go on here to
all
find
the continents? I could find a story and get it over to you, Jeran, while you're doing some other things.
Okay, or I can. Yeah, I don't know what he showed me.
It's in the Globebusters chat. I'll pull it up.
Okay. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, hang on. Give me a second. I'll go get it first.
Yeah, I also have a screen recording of the Weather Channel themselves showing the globe turn around, and they show like 65 or 70% of the Earth lit up. But like Cami said, they're counting all the twilight and stuff on the depiction. Is super funny because they have to turn it around and keep showing more and more of the globe lit up. But
hey, Dave,
right? It wouldn't work in reality on the globe, is correct, Austin. But they made it on the flat. It did. It flattened out nicely.
Bob,
do you
can
have it
you
up there,
add
Bob?
can you add Dave to the call? Dave Weiss.
I certainly can. Hang on just a sec. Oopsie.
There's not enough
Let me,
Jews being represented right now, so we need to add one. I got a message from my controller.
Globebusters live and
because I don't know where to go on Sunday. Sound calculator, not calculator. Day and night map, maybe this one. And what is today? Today during the sun. So we got to go -6 hours. So something like that. Oh, it's a little bit further. Another 1 hour. -1 hour. They show like more than. Oh, it's way up more. It's this way. This way. This way. They show about like that. Nope, still a little bit more. So is that what they mean by 90%?
okay, and I just added Dave to the group.
You're not showing on the
oh, here it is. I found it here.
chat.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
I sent you the story too. I fucking love science in the group chat that shows them how the ball does it. By the way, just for fun, shits and giggles.
Here's the one from Time and Date I found. It says, fact check, 99% of the world's population gets sunlight at the same moment on July 8th. A fascinating claim is circulating on the internet that there's a moment each year when 99% of the world's population gets sunlight. Is it true? It happens on July 8th at 11:15. So it already passed a couple days ago. As July rolls around, our number crunchers thought it would be worth a fact check. An original post, a more widely circulated version, claims that 99% of the population gets daylight at that moment. So they're including every type is basically it.
yeah, they can include every type, and then it's 90% of the 99% of the population specifically.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not
So-
sure that's anything. For me, it's
I loved
every
Banjo's.
Yeah, Banjo's a good video.
Take on it. He did a video. David, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, we hear you.
What I was trying to say is, if you look at time and date, where they, if you go to time and date and pull up yesterday or whatever, the 8th, when it had that 99%, or anytime,
okay,
they always show us a small local sun, like the flat Earth.
of
Like,
course.
why are they depicting the sun like it would be on a flat Earth? You just convert time and date onto an AE map. It makes more sense.
That's what Rob Skiba did. Remember, his animation was just from time and date.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a small sun. And again, you can't measure to it. So don't let anybody tell you that. Don't let anybody tell you that they use parallax or triangulation or anything like that to get the distance to the sun, because they can't, or else it would be the same size as the moon and the same distance.
Yeah, but I think it's actually an apparent location based on magnetic holography.
Me too.
I don't know that it's actually. I'm never going to claim the sun's a physical object that's moving at the actual location that is trigonometrically deduced with the apparent location. Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to call it physical. So it makes a lot more sense if two people are, and it's interesting allegory with the, we each have a personal relationship with the sun, right? Interesting analogy to Christianity, that we each have a personal relationship with
that's how magnetic holography works.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, like if you see the corpuscularies over a lake and then I walk on the other side, if it's this small little local sun in the clouds or right above them with those direct rays, then on the other side of the lake, I should be able to see the sun with the same rays from that perspective. But in reality, you'll go to the other side of the lake and the sun will be behind you.
Right.
And so it's like this personal viewer angle, and then you see a certain depiction based on magnetic holography, like a projection, like within the electromagnetic polarization. And so everyone has their personal, which just shows that actually makes creation even more amazing if you think about it. Everyone literally has their own sun, basically.
Well, and then actually, you are the center of the universe.
You are
the
exactly like the sun is like moving calligraphy, like with you. It's crazy.
And the moon is, does follow you.
I'm very interested in if we could create a really nice animation of that. Like if you wanted to model something out, like a magnetic calligraphy, and then getting all the declination readings and stuff on all the longitudes, and like making it showing exactly the angle, how it would work. I'd be interested in that. Maybe that's probably not super easy, but
I'll work on that one with you, Austin and Jeran. At some point, maybe because I can work with Austin here. I want to make it that declination is unfuzzy to you, because declination, the more you go into it, they screwed with you on that like they did everything else. But once you see what it is, it's very clean and simple. Can't do it right.
I need it to
today, and
just
I don't
be
have the
laid.
preps, but I'd love to do that with you. Clean it up for you.
And do you lay it on the AE?
Yeah,
that's
Pardon?
yeah. You lay it on the AE map, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The AE map, when you put it on the AE map, it all of a sudden
Makes
starts
sense?
solving itself on it.
Oh,
and
that's
you
awesome. Then I got to learn
start
that.
doing things with it, and it starts making perfect sense. But again, you have to put it on the AE map to.
Because it's laughable on the globe.
It is laughable on the globe. It's totally laughable on the globe, but I can show you I can show you on the AE how it would lay out, how it could even what configurations created, and how you would read again where in the field you would and why your compass does why it does.
Okay. But as far as this, I don't know if it's really some impossible thing. I mean, I do think that the sun lights the atmosphere, so even if the Earth were a ball, which I think is impossible, I wouldn't be surprised that it could light up more than half, because it's lighting up the atmosphere.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, don't forget Dan Dimensions videos that basically, if we're on a flat Earth and we're in an enclosed system, and then we have the noble gases, which are basically in the very upper layer of our dome, right? Because they're the lightest gases as well. Some of the very lightest gases, when the sun passes through them or gets in their vicinity, they will cause the noble gases to fluoresce, which gives us sky blue, sunrise, sunset colors. Mm-hmm. And then it also starts a cascade effect. When you fluoresce noble gases, they then will emit their own EM field, which will then cause a cascading effect to illuminate the noble gases even further out. So yeah, absolutely. To think that the sun is responsible for 100% of the lighting on Earth is absurd. But, the globe model says that it's all, done through refraction, which is horse manure.
That's all I say. So the globe can't be more than 50% lit up with sun, man. They can say whatever they want to say.
Well, but the atmosphere would be like, so the sun sets for me, right? But it's still light for another 45 minutes. So what I'm saying is the sun's gone. It cannot be seen by me, but I can still get light. So if that's happening elsewhere, then it would be more than 50%. 50% of the Earth can.
But how does that work on a globe, though? I'm talking about
Jeran,
on a globe, 50% of the world.
I texted you an image. I don't know how to share it in Skype here for some reason.
Okay, I see it. Gotcha. Let me pull it up.
They have to say the light's bent around the ball. Like, there's just no other way. And then once you say that, you'd have to say that, actually on certain days with crazy refraction, we have longer days. So
Austin, it lights up more than half of the ball because of the tilt of the ball. You didn't know that you can tilt the ball. Didn't
yeah, right. That's it.
The tilt of the ball makes it
That is what they say, though. You're right about that, Dave. That is what they say. It lights it up because of the tilt. It's like, that's nonsense.
Because of the tilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and that's why we have seasons.
What that means?
Okay, this one here, Dave, you want me to bring up? Oh, shoot. Why don't I come up there right?
Yeah, that one. I mean, that shows us what that image is like from the Weather Channel, where they were flipping it around, trying to show people how it was working, and it makes no sense. And when you convert that onto a flat Earth map, it looks amazing.
Oh, so yeah, I see what you're saying. So this is 60%. So yeah, there's no way this could be. If they're saying lit up, or are they saying can see the sun?
Well, 60% had direct sun, and the rest had twilight.
Mm.
And then the only thing that didn't have it was literally just off the coast of California and Australia.
Let's see what Google Earth shows.
But
If I pull it all the way
if
out,
everyone after the show, go to Flat Earth Banjo's channel. He made a great video on it. He's also making another one now for that sailboat race. It's unbelievable. It's going to be so good.
What, the
he just
Vendio
converted
one?
it onto a flat Earth.
Which one are they doing now?
He's converted it onto a flat Earth map. No, I forget the name of the race, but it was just. I think it just happened. It's all over the place, and he converts the trails onto a flat Earth map, and it's the only way the race makes any sense.
What date is it? Oh, 7,
that was
8.
good.
7/8, I believe it was.
I'm sorry, Jeran, say again.
No, I was just wondering what date. I think it said 7/8 is the day that it was supposed to be. 7/8. So I mean, this is what the
7/8
problem
at 7:15 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, here's
Eastern.
5 a.m. So close, kind of close, but yeah, it's showing like this getting light basically, and then all of this getting light, and then all of this getting light, and all.
David, who transposed it to a flat Earth disk? Was that Flat Earth Banjo that did that?
Banjo, yeah, he's really good at it. He's excellent at it. He's got some good experience.
Oh, that's
there.
right.
So
I just watched that earlier.
We
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, you don't believe you're on this thing spinning right now? You're crazy.
I kind of feel like I'm spinning right now a little bit. Look, I'm out in the sun right now, and like the sun is going down, so that means I'm tilting away from the sun. The sun's really just staying there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
Globe is so dumb. You know how flat earthers? I mean, globe people make fun of flat earthers. Oh, where'd you get your education? You live in your mother's basement. Globe earthers are so dumb. It's unfathomable.
But what
it's unfathomable.
What they did a good job of is indoctrination. Number one, we know that, and then they did this brilliant thing by making it so that people want to be lazy. Number one, and number two, that they don't want to be ridiculed, and that's all it takes. Is people are like, wait, I can go do my own work. I can do my own research. I can actually have to put forth effort, and people will make fun of me, or I cannot do any of that effort and just tout science, and people will think I'm smart. So what do you think?
And I can go watch movies that'll confirm everything I believe. If I just watch a whole bunch of movies, the movies can't be wrong too.
Right.
It's unreal.
If you disagree with your teacher, then you fail your course, and you might even get held behind, and then you're going to be treated like stupid for the rest of your life because you were held back, right?
Wow. Yeah. Somebody says the claim is 83% get direct sunlight. That's weird. And
you want to succeed in life, you have to agree with everything your teacher says, and if you don't agree, you have to lie and pretend like you do. That's just how you have to succeed in the world.
Dave, if you
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I forgot.
I was going to say the thing where they said 99% of the world population is in sun. They don't mean 99% of the globe. It just happened to be at that time of that day, the 60% of the globe that had direct sun, and then twilight covered the populations of the Earth. Just by coincidence.
Yeah, Jared, do you see my screen share?
Oh, go ahead. No,
so they're not saying that 99% of the Earth was in sunlight. So the Earth's population. So it's a little tricky.
Okay, Jared, do you see my screen share?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, because
with the Weather Channel thing on there.
Yeah, you want me to play this video? It's great.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go. And let me know if you don't hear it.
Hello, my dear friends. July the 8th was a very interesting day. It was the day that even the Weather Channel proclaimed to be an impossible day on the globe. It was the day when the heliocentric model shot itself dead. But first of all, let's demonstrate some sympathy to our globe friends.
Bob, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. You got it?
Let's observe 1 minute of silence for the death of the heliocentric model, also known as the spinning ball Earth with water and air velcroed around it.
Not very nice. Darren's going to pee during the moment of silence.
I know, right? How rude. All the ballers are so bummed out.
So let us, flat earthers, celebrate a little bit. Let's celebrate. We deserve. We've been discriminated. We've been censored. Google, YouTube, they all censored our videos, our books, our articles. So we deserve some celebration because there is no other day like July the 8th. I only found one video, and that was also made by the Weather Channel, trying to demonstrate this event on the globe. And as we can see here, the light of the sun clearly covers 60 to 70% of the globe. So we have 60 to 70% of the globe wrapped in sunlight. That's impossible on the heliocentric model. The sunlight cannot cover more than 50% of the globe. But as you see on this simulation by the Weather Channel, to be possible for the sunlight to cover all those regions on Earth, it's necessary that the sunlight covers between 60 to 70% of the globe. Not being able to show, many news channels are showing the Mercator's projection because that's the only one they can show.
One more thing this half hour. There is a rare phenomenon happening right now across the globe. As of about 3 minutes ago, 7:15 Eastern Time, 99% of the entire world's population is facing the sun. That means we're all experiencing some degree of sunlight at the exact same time, either full daylight or for a lot of other folks, twilight. If you look at the map right there, just the Pacific Islands and Australia, the Australian region, are fully in the dark. 99% of the world.
And California. Poor California.
Yes.
You know what? What a cool phenomenon.
This poor guy, he tried to demonstrate on the globe how that could be possible, but he failed miserably. So he had to go to his computer and demonstrate on the Mercator's projection.
On July 8th of every year at 11:15 Universal Time, that translates to about 7:15 Eastern Time, 99% of the world's population, just over 99% of the world's population, is actually in sunlight.
2 hours later.
The reason is actually kind of interesting once we kind of delve into this a bit.
7 hours later.
So, I mean, if you look at the Pacific Ocean, this just kind of gives you a rough idea. Imagine if the sun was lighting up this section of the Earth. You see that there'd be a very small amount of Earth's population. Right. But over here, when you get Asia, Africa, maybe some of North America and some South America, you can see that you have a much larger percentage of the Earth's population that could be in sunlight.
1 eternity later.
Let me reference this. It's actually kind of cool. And if we take a look, they actually put a map with it that helps explain this just a little bit. So if I zoom in just a tad, what you can see is that each July 8th at 11:15 UTC, Universal Time, that's Greenwich Mean Time if you're kind of curious, right through Greenwich, England.
So it is impossible for the sunlight to wrap around the globe between 60 to 70%. So there is no other day like July 8th to demonstrate how wrong the heliocentric model is. And to better understand, all we have to do is to convert the Mercator projection into the flat Earth map and see how it makes more sense on the flat Earth map.
Oh, wow. And it really does, doesn't it? Wow, what a huge difference. Can you guys hear me?
That lines up perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. You know, somebody, he did this already, but this is great. What a complete blunder, bonehead move these people made. Why would they do this? Are they trying to shoot themselves in the head?
Well, it's crazy. So, like, you guys are talking about the tilt. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, so they say that since the parallel rays from the sun are so big, it'll kind of go over a little bit, and that's where you'll get your twilight or whatever. Okay, you got maximum 55% with that, like, BS excuse there. Geometrically speaking, more than 50%. Period.
Here's why the tilt doesn't work though. Remember, is because if the sun is 93 million miles away and it's 875,000 miles, then there is no point anywhere on Earth that is not fully engulfed in the rays being cast out by the sun, right? It only looks like it would be smaller because the sun is smaller, right? And it's local, but if you think about it in the actual heliocentric model, they're saying that it's 875,000 miles across. Therefore, even if the Earth is tilted, it would make absolutely no difference whatsoever to the sun because no matter where we are, within the sun's shot, we're fully engulfed in its rays. You see what I'm saying? But let me play the rest of this real quick.
with a small sun, a small local sun. You can see here how it illuminates those regions on Earth, leaving the majority of Earth in the dark. Only on the flat Earth model, even this map by Weather Channel, I converted into a flat Earth map, and you can see here it's better explained with a small and local sun circulating over the flat Earth. We can see how this is possible for a day like July the 8th. If you still believe in the heliocentric model, yesterday was the day for you to drop that model and realize we don't live on a spinning ball spinning around the universe. So this is just a short video. The Earth is flat. Keep it flat, guys. See you the next time. Bye-bye.
So you say, why would they want to shoot yourself? Why would they want to shoot themselves in the foot? It's because we got guys on the inside. That's seriously it.
White hats.
We've got guys on the inside. How many times do we hear Obama talk about all the flat earthers in Congress?
Yeah. It's absolutely true. So, it's unbelievable.
I like
that they
that
did
theory. I like that theory. That we have flat earthers on the inside. I'm with you, Kyle.
Yeah,
I think so too.
I was looking through my textbook here on modern Earth science. When you see an astronaut in space right next to a scuba diver, I can't say that is coincidence. It's too perfect to see the astronaut right next to the scuba diver. Yeah, it's just too uncanny.
Yep, pretty insane. So, yeah, they've really made some. Go ahead, Zach.
Just gonna say, was advocate a little bit. The U.S. Naval Observatory used to give you the sun and moon chart tables for every single day of the year. Now you can't find them. Now it's probably a FOIA request or something like that to get them, but they used to be out there. And it would always have negative at sunrise and sunset. There would be negative numbers there. And when you went down to the bottom and read what that meant, they are telling us that when you actually see the sun rising, it's actually 2 degrees still below the horizon line.
Right.
You're just seeing the light bend around. That's the only way they could make up for the way the sun is actually acting.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So now what that means is crazy refraction days, we have much longer days.
Yep.
Like
the
stellar day is subject to refractive conditions always.
Is that true, or you're saying it would be true?
That's what they would have to claim.
Right.
I mean, yeah. It's just they have to claim that the light bends around the ball. There's no way around it.
Well, I think technically that would be true, because if the sunlight is coming into the Earth, as soon as it hits the atmosphere, it's drawn down. That will be one of the few times where the light would actually be drawn down, because there's a medium change. You go from outer space, which has no viscosity, to basically one atmosphere, and yeah, it's gonna draw that light downward.
But I don't understand why wouldn't that be on June 21st? Why
that would be every day.
Technically be on every day.
No, but I'm saying why
exactly. That's why it doesn't help them. That's why it doesn't help them with the June 8th thing, because it would have to be on every day. They say the same thing for Selenilian eclipse, but it's like, okay, cool story. So it's the same refraction always. You've never seen the real sunrise or sunset. Like Zach said, that's what their actual claim is now. No one knows that. They believe that, but
And how is it possible then that it moves 15 degrees an hour if you see it and it's really not where it is, and then when it sets, it's not where it is? It would be somewhere different, right? Like when does it make the jump?
Well, because most people seem to think that the Earth is turning at 15 degrees per hour when in fact it's the ether.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's another story.
Yeah.
Austin, do you want to do your presentation? How long you can take?
I have 100 slides.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a big one.
We don't actually have to use all the slides, obviously, ever. But I'm just saying, like, there's just a bunch of quotes.
More than 10 minutes. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we do it next week?
Or we could do it next week, because we're almost at 3 hours again. We did it again. So,
oops, we did it again. All right. Yeah. So if anybody else has anything to bring up, that's kind of my slate.
Yep. Nope. That's good for me.
I want to bring up. You played my video with the Reds rhetoric. I don't know if you guys heard it, But don't you think that is like the one of the top lamest excuses that you've ever heard from the globe apologists?
Well, I want to just go see him do it in a parabolic flight then.
Yeah, the cup has walls, things you call walls, and that's what holds the water in. Like that experiment alone would show that it would climb the walls and leave a hollow center.
Yeah.
I mean, how can they recover from this? Or they just ignore it and move on?
I don't know.
When
Honestly,
I turn the
Dave,
cup with water in it, the water just all falls out. It doesn't stick to the walls of the cup. There's no.
I wonder if we could find one.
It just.
And how did they get the water in there in the first place? How did they pour it in there to get it to lay level? Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how either. There's so many of these that happen, and then they just go away. That's the thing about space is you can just people believe it, so they're never going to question it. You'll be called dumb.
Yep, and honestly, Dave,
the best excuse they have. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
I think that maybe the best, or it's right up there with them taking pictures of the horizon and then scrunching it all up and calling it curvature. Right, and then of course Jeran took that. He took a picture of his countertop. Oh, look, curvature. It's like, and they had all these guys just fanboy cheering. Unbelievable.
I love when they do that, on the horizon. But it has to do that on a flat Earth, and it has to do that on a ball Earth. It doesn't prove anything because we see in the same distance in all directions. So the horizon is a curve. Bring it together, and you're going to see a curve.
That's correct. And like with Rayleigh scattering, you got you have divergent rays, then you have a circumference of light that hits that flat surface beneath you. As you rise above a flat surface, it'll add a little bit of curvature. So
check this out, Dave. So I found this page here talking about the zero gravity coffee cup, but it says right here, physics professor Mark Weislogel of Portland State University has given a lot of thought to coffee and other fluids in space, and he describes what happens. Aurorus underfoot. For starters, he says it would be a chore just getting the coffee into the cup. Absent the pull of gravity, pouring liquids can be very tricky. Well, they figured it out in China. Very smart there. But for the sake of argument, let's just suppose you are on the space station and you have a cup of coffee in your hand. The most natural thing would be to tip the cup towards your lips, but when you do, the coffee would be very hard to control, he continues. In fact, it probably wouldn't come out of the cup. You'd have to shake the cup towards your face and hope that some of the hot liquid breaks loose and floats towards your mouth.
Brilliant.
Coffee is not the only liquid that misbehaves. Oh boy,
Jeran, your whole thing with want to be rich, invent things that make people lazier. That is the only reason why the globe idea still exists, because people are lazy. They don't want to take the time and the effort and the thought and put that energy into it. Which we
especially
all love,
because when you do that, the result, your reward is to be called an idiot. So who wants to do that?
That's changing though. The idiots are going to be the people that have had the information and refuse to see the flat Earth and hold on to the globe. Those are the idiots. The other people have just been brainwashed and haven't looked yet. So there's many of us that look and see. All right, well that's good. Now that you look, but if you become a willful idiot, willfully ignorant, those are the people that are going to be made fun of soon.
Ironically,
Bob,
the worst fear is going to become true, and the consensus is no longer going to be on their side, and they'll no longer be accepted. The people that fight it with the information right now, their worst fear will become true. It's pretty wild.
It's amazing that, like you pointed out with Professor Dave, everything they accuse us of, they're the ones that are actually doing it. They accuse us of being idiots. They're the idiots. They're accusing us of not doing the math. They're the ones not doing the math, and people are just so lazy that they don't see it. So Jeran, Bob, you said you and Jeran don't agree on everything. Jeran and I don't agree. Jeran thinks that the flat Earth disclosure won't happen in his lifetime. I think it's going to happen in 2022. So I don't think we could be any more diametrically opposed, but I still kind of like
well,
that.
I'm sorry, Dave, but I have to go with Jeran on this one. There's no way they can let that one fall. I mean, they can't.
When it happens, I am personally responsible for having all the nursing homes shut down. I'm now personally responsible for having the Georgia Guidestones blown up, and then when the whole entire internet goes down, you can throw that one at me too.
Okay.
Way to go.
Well, hey, I'd be happy to do it, honestly, but I just got to agree with Jeran.
We're gonna find
your job at getting on coast to coast, by the way.
Yeah, tell everybody about that.
Thank you. Yeah, just the last thing is, I'm kidding, but I think it's going to they're not going to let it happen. I think it's going to get out of control where they can't stop it. And that's how we're going to win. So coast to coast, Monday night, not tonight, Monday night. And it's 3 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Midnight Pacific, I guess. And coast to coast am.com. I'll post it on the Flat Earth Facebook.
Is it with George Norrie?
With George Norrie. I'm in hour 3 and hour 4.
Oh, and he's going to be the host, George Norrie?
Yeah. So listen to this. George said to his producer, again, back to what Kyle said, we have insiders everywhere. There's a bunch of people at Coast to Coast that have pushed the idea. And George goes, I think it's ridiculous nonsense, but if you guys want it, I'll have them. So I'm gonna open up George's mind if he's willing to listen. I think he is a guy that's willing to listen. And he had Stephen Greer on the other day, and I'm going to use everything Stephen Greer said. Well, no, I agree with every single thing that Stephen Greer said. He's just wrapping it around the wrong model.
Wait, you believe that there's many aliens that are the size of his hand?
No, well, forget that. He didn't talk about that. The stuff that he talked about with all of it makes sense on a physically, scientifically possible flat Earth. It makes no sense in a scientifically impossible, space vacuum. And I'm going to point out how whether the stuff he says is true or not doesn't matter. It only works on a flat Earth. It's going to be interesting. And they do take calls in the second hour. If anyone calls in, call in with a real question. It's real, or bring a fact. If you want to say, hey, Dave didn't mention this, and spew it out, be concise because they're really quick with their calls. What's that?
Can I ask you what the sun is?
Wait, say it again. You broke up.
Can I call in and ask you what the sun is?
No, you cannot, Zach.
So look at this.
But if you want to, you can.
Look at this video from the Viral Video Lab, and they say science experiment: water in zero gravity. It's like, okay, let's check it out. You talk about the biggest horse shit video you've ever seen in your life. Watch this. Okay, they put a Hero 3 inside of a box, and they have a cup. Okay. Oh, we're going to add water to the cup. Okay, I've seen this experiment before, right? You drop the box and you have the camera in there and you get to see what the water does. So let's see what it does. What do you think it's going to do, Bob?
I don't know. I only see it on the YouTube feed. It's not on the Skype feed.
Oh, yeah, I didn't share.
But I'm watching it on YouTube.
Okay, so now we're going to defy gravity. I've never seen a video that I just right away said, oh my God, what a fucking lie. So now they drop it. Now watch what happens. Wait, do you see this? What a joke. I cannot believe anybody would believe that. Please rate, share, and comment. Yeah, I'll rate it, all right.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
Why would they try and pass that as being real?
That's freaking pathetic. Oh, my God. Well, you have to show it for the inside guys or paste a link for them, but if you watch it on the outside, that's pathetic. The bubble doesn't even look real. It's like moving all over the place.
There's no piece of it that looks real at all.
Unreal.
Now you can see my share
Literally.
screen? You should be able to see it.
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, so just so everybody can see. If you didn't see it, watch this. Look at that. That's what they say the water's doing. I mean, it's such a joke. It's totally CGI.
That looks totally real. Yeah, totally.
But they try and I bet you if we go look at the comments, everybody thinks it's real. Great video.
Of course they do.
Oh, great video. This should bring down the flat earth wackos out of their mom's basement or out of the under bridges where they live with their troll families, screaming crap like gravity's just a theory and it's just density. Most profoundly ignorant people on the face of the spherical earth, and this guy believes this video. Who's the idiot, Dave?
Wow. That's so funny, bro, because it's like I think that he probably recruited like 10 people to Flat Earth with that comment.
I know. It's just so. Tell me somebody calls it out for being fake. It's clearly 100% fake. I bet my life on it. And
a normal person is like, whoa, this guy's way too bad about flat. Like, what?
Hi, could you explain the principle? Because I'm confused. Right. This is guys saying it right. That the box would experience air pressure. It wouldn't. It's just nonsense.
I mean, I saw this in like elementary school. A video that the science teacher played on a VHS cassette. You put water inside of a vacuum chamber and it boils. It doesn't start floating up in the air in a sphere. That's
why they asked Neil deGrasse one time, like, if we had a big water ball in space, this and that, could we go inside it? And he's like, yeah, we could. I'm like, what are you talking about? It would boil. You can't have a big water ball in space.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
This video deserves more views. No, it does not, lady. Does not at all. It's a fake video. I was just throwing Skittles in the bottle, and there was a 0G effect. Any of you ever seen that? There's a parabolic flight where they release all these ping pong balls. Do you think that they all joined together and made one giant sphere? Or do you think they just went everywhere?
Oh, they had to join together. Gravity, man.
Wow. Whoa, never knew this before. Thanks. And they think flat Earth is dangerous. These guys just believing. Pretty cool. You're tricky. The video shows only real water 10. Then the title says the same. But what you really used is water balls that you sneakily listed in the description area. Oh, so somebody did call it out for being fake. If there is no gravity, the water can float without throwing it to the ground. Fake. Nice one. Unmanipulated water takes the shape of its container. Where are the practical examples of water naturally? Oh, here's a flat earther. Just read that. The water is actually falling. The box accelerates faster than the water and gives the float effect. No, it's not true. The air resistance would mean that the water couldn't float like that anyway. Good experiment, this guy says. Oh, boy.
Yeah, the surface tension would tend to make it want to ball up, and like it does normally, but not very big.
What a joke.
Yeah.
I can't believe people get away with stuff like that. Just a completely fake experiment passed off as being real. I mean, look at this sphere of water. Like, that's what would happen. You drop a box and it would come out. And I'm going to be a sphere now. What a joke.
Unreal. All righty then.
All right.
Well, I say we call it a show, eh?
Let's do it. And then we're going to take another 3 months off. We'll be back for... No, I'm just kidding.
We'll be back,
for season 175.
Yep. Yeah. We'll be back on Wednesday with the Globebusters Tech Show. And we're going to start. Kindergarten is going to be in session, guys. We're going to start all over again and go through it one step at a time. So if you know anybody that really wants to get serious about this, that's where you want to be.
And I heard a good video the other day. I guess I'll talk about it on my show too. That just a scientist. Who was he talking to? I forgot. It was Joe Rogan or somebody. Where he's explaining that when they talk about what's going on, I know we didn't even get into the Large Hadron Collider, but when they talk about these things that they're finding, quarks, and they have an upcharge and a downcharge and a red color and a blue color, like people actually believe that. And even the scientist is like, no, it's not. People need to recognize the difference between a model of something and the actual item, right? It's a model that they've come up with that works well for them. They can make calculations or whatever, but it's not actually what's going on, right? When they say there's an up down charge and a down charge, they're just assigning something to what they think are particles, but there's no actual way of determining that. Or, oh, it's got a red, a gluon and a blue. I don't know the stupid words they use, but it's such nonsense. And I'll play it on my show because there's a scientist that tells everybody, no, don't believe that stuff. It's just like I've told people before. They say we can observe an atom, which is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life, because an atom is by definition something that cannot be dissected. And if you can see something with your eye, guess what? You can cut it in half. So anybody who tells you they see an atom, no, you can't see an atom. It's impossible. How would you see an atom? If you can see it, then it can be dissected. And if you can be dissected, then that's not an atom. So just little things that they teach. And then they tell you what's inside the atom. Oh, it's a neutron and an electron, and they go around the nucleus or whatever. Again, those are stories. They're not real, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a deal that they've created. There is no such thing as a negative charge.
Right.
This is something that Ken Wheeler, it finally sunk into my brain. It's all the same charge, and whatever's touching the earth is neutral. And then you can make things less than neutral, but that doesn't mean that it's negative or below zero. Right. They gave this idea of zero, and there is no zero. There is no negative. It's all the same charge, just at different potentials. That's it.
Atoms, the basic building blocks of life that are completely hypothetical.
Yeah, and that's really what they're meant to be, is meant to be like, if we're all made of some things, there must be the smallest something that there can be. And that's all an atom is. But as far as seeing it, it's so funny because if you look up, have we seen an atom? And then, yes, this electron microscope. And then they show you a picture of it. You're like, yeah, but I can dissect that. You're showing it to me and I can cut it in half. So it can't be an atom.
whatever
Yeah,
it is charged.
Yes.
Why can't you trust people that promote atomism?
I know. I'm so sorry.
Because they make up everything.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Good one. All these yet to be discovered particles. Anybody have any worry about CERN? I think it's so fake that I have zero worry. I'm more worried that a asteroid is going to pop out of the sky and nail me in the head right now than I am of CERN.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but I'm not sure where they're going with that, to be honest with you. I think it's just a big money drain.
Did you watch the live stream they did and the song they did at the end? And I mean, the thing is like, how did we ever give these? Remember nerds in school? Man, nobody paid any attention to them. They were off doing their homework and things, and they were just awkward and couldn't dance and couldn't. And then these are the people that have built our entire world, and then we have to go watch them at the Large Hadron Collider, and they can't even fit in regular society. They're like that weird of people, and they certainly are not geniuses. They're just order followers. So they sit there at their little console and punch their little buttons, and they think they've done something amazing. I mean, how could you send particles at 99.9% of the speed of light? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, people believe it, and as long as people believe it and say, attaboy, keep going, that's just going to encourage them to keep doing it.
Hey, Fritz Duster says, why is there no luminous people? There is luminous people. You just have to wear the Dyson dye glasses or the Diacean. Have you heard that Diacean glass?
Dicyanine or something like that. Right.
Dicyanine glass. It's illegal because supposedly you can see the aura of, say, it's called an aura glasses. Don't get the ones from Amazon; they're fake. This one, dicyanine dye, if put in between two pieces of glass, allows you to see people's aura. They call it the human atmosphere. In fact, the book that I read was written by the inventor of this. I can't remember his name now. Where is his name? It would be in. Let me get the right spelling of it, because I want to get some. If anybody knows how to get any of this dye, diacetyl dye. Where is it? Here we go. Diacetyl dye.
Those glasses.
They make. Yeah, I've heard that they used to sell them. They're called something goggles. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that did it.
I'm still looking for some nude X-ray glasses. Where are those at?
Now they'll come out eventually.
I ordered one out of a magazine when I was younger, but they didn't work too well.
These ones?
Nah.
Oh, those ones.
No, so that's just like, oh, cool. We can look at the girls.
Don't buy things from Mad Magazine, right?
You have to close your eyes half the time, bro. You're gonna see all kinds of stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah, probably. Especially these days. It's like, oh my god, what is that? No.
Jeez, what does that sound? Get out of there.
You're not a girl.
This is supposedly somebody looking through. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. Dicyanine? Yeah, dicyanine dye. And the guy, who was the inventor of it? Yeah, really. Can you show people? I want to see the aura as well. I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with this stuff before. I never have. I just found out about it, within the last 2-3 weeks. But I forgot who makes it. Aura glass. It's called something goggles. I remember I sent it to Dave.
Kind of like they live glasses.
Kilner right here. Walter John Kilner. They're called Kilner goggles. So if you look up Kilner goggles, and of course this guy supposedly has been debunked. Here's a Kilner screen, and the shifting of the chromatic focus of the eye by use of. Oh, this might be his actual book. Yeah, this book is incredible. 1912, and he goes through and explains how every single. How they tested different people, sick ones, well ones, children, and how they all have corresponding auras that can only be seen with dicyanine, and they don't call it here. I think they call it something else. Maybe I guess I can't read the paper. Where's PDF here? But this is a great thing to check if you haven't seen it. Oh, you have to pay for it.
Some kind of spirit goggles or something?
Yeah, supposedly you can see.
Your chi?
I have this PDF somewhere. I read it the other day. What is it called again? I'm shifting this one here because it actually describes, and it was a PDF on Google Books, I think. Where is it? Scribd might has it. Everyone's going to ask you for sign in. I know I was reading it the other day. I don't remember where I was reading it though. Anyway, if anybody knows about that, seems pretty incredible. And of course, this guy's been debunked, so they say, but that just simply means that he was onto something, and then they
exactly
right.
Yep.
Here it is: the human atmosphere or the aura made visible by the diacean. And then it's weird because why would it be illegal? Which you can't buy it in the United States.
That's what's weird. It's like it's not a drug or anything like that, and it's illegal. I've seen about this a couple times. Never really looked into it.
Yeah, I tried looking into it, but it's a good book. I mean, I started reading it, and then you get to the pictures where it's showing you what everybody's aura looks like, based on. Now, why is this thing not working? Hello, book. Oh, there's one. Let's see if we can get up there a little bit. I don't know why my book pages aren't moving. Anyway, it shows pictures of it and stuff. This thing's like all frozen or something. Long book. You can see over here. Here's like an aura of a woman, and it shows what's going on there. And then you can get this is the aura of a young child. This is the aura of a sick child. And supposedly they did like numerous tests, and people started to believe it. And then before you know it, they got it got turned illegal, and then they made this guy a quack, just like Research Royal Rife. Everybody who had anything Rife machine, everybody says they work.
Joseph Newman machines.
Yeah,
yep.
Newman machines. So anyway, I know a lot of people have been talking about that, so I just wanted to point that out. But here you go. Kook science. Mm-hmm. Notice for invention of Kilner screens using diacetyl dye, the shifting. Yeah, but then they'll say, "Oh, it's nonsense," but then it's just illegal for no reason, or what?
It's actually illegal to buy it. I think technically you can make it yourself, but it's illegal to buy it. I can't remember. It's something like that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay, Zach, this is interesting because the way you use it is you smear it between two glass panes. It sounds a lot like the filters you would use on the Paracel and that. And
you
very, very.
Cell glasses.
They say that you need to find a chemist. If you can find a chemist, it's easy to find in fact, the directions to make it are in that book, the Kilner book. But the problem is that you have to have a chemist because it's crazy chemicals, hydrochloroticine and stuff that I don't think we should be playing with. But
yeah, probably not.
Well, at least me. I'll volunteer to not play with that shit.
I don't play with chemicals too much. I stick with electricity.
Oh, I was going to ask, what's his name? A chemist? Jay Tolan?
No, he's an RF engineer. Professor Dave's the chemist.
Oh, is he? Great.
Supposedly.
Any chemists in the house? Any chemists in that? Not meth either.
I know.
Yeah.
You know a chemist?
Yeah, you want me to put an order in, get some keys shipped?
wrong kind of chemist.
No, I'm saying this stuff, bro.
Okay, yeah. Oh, and so this is the other thing this is where it gets crazy is that supposedly they used this diacetyl glass to look at stars. This is back way early, I think it was 1934, and they found light that doesn't correspond in any way with the current theories. Light supposedly coming from the stars.
Wow.
So, but again, I get to these articles and then you can't read the article.
So we definitely need to get this stuff made.
Yeah, I think so. To obtain a general view of the situation, let us consider first radiation as it leaves a star, then what happens to it, interstellar space, Earth's atmosphere, and finally what can we... Oh, yeah. So you can't read enough of it. But anyway, that's a fun item for people to look into if they want. And the name of the book is The Human Atmosphere by Kilner.
Cool.
Kilner. All right. So everybody say your goodbyes. I guess we start with Zack.
Alrighty, everybody take care. Thanks for another great show, guys. This was fun. Just be doing the Ironworks over there on Iron Row Media and Have No Sphere on Friday. Fun time. Come hang out.
And what time's that show start? I know it's super early for me.
Yeah, the Ironworks starts Tuesday and Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern. So it's an early one. We go for 2 hours. There's all the commercials and all that crap. And then Have No Sphere on Friday. We kind of more show up when we're supposed to. So we say 6 p.m. Eastern, but it's more like 6:30, 6:45-ish. It depends.
So 3:30 for you, Jeran.
Thank you. I'll probably be sleeping, or I'll probably be going to bed probably about then. So it's a little late for me.
No, the Friday night show you could make because that's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, the other ones are the morning.
2 in the morning.
Okay, 2 in the morning for me.
Yeah.
And this page here, I'll send it to you, Austin, because here's the preparation for making the glass. What you need to use and all that stuff.
Oh, cool. Definitely shoot it to me. I want to do our own thing. We start doing our own experiments.
Yeah, we got to get back to him. It's been with COVID. There was 2 years of not being able to leave the house and having to, without taking a test. These tests are so accurate, by the way. They're almost as accurate as the vaccine is safe and effective.
And it killed everybody's budget too. Didn't help there at all.
No, not at all. But I would love to try to look at the sky with it just to see what it shows.
Yeah, yep. I still think we have to look at that experiment that we were talking about, the plane with the gyro. Bob, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
So,
all right, Cami, what's going on with you? Where can they find your stuff?
Where can you find me? You can find me on Iron Realm on Friday nights. You can find me over at the Mellow Dome quite a bit. And in some of the chats elsewhere, but mostly you can find me out at the river or out at like the mines digging in rocks and looking for crystals and outside as often as I can be.
You guys need to do a show. Can you and Karen do like a show on just crystallology?
We started a series on it. I think we could do more, and we have been.
No, I don't want a series. I want it condensed.
Doing a lot of hands-on right now.
I want a 3-hour condensed version, so I can learn it quicker. No, just
Karen, if you're up for that, I certainly am. I know that we have put some things, but we can do it condensed and hit it and show you how they grow. And that I've been accumulating different things like a little microscope and that we can actually grow some things live for you and see things in action. So putting together all of this stuff, and so hopefully that'll be upcoming along with the declination. And I did find my big pillar magnets, my 4-inch ones, and I do have some new ways of viewing the magnetics that I'll be hands-on doing with people at Flattoberfest. Got a lot of stuff going on, got a lot of behind the scenes map tweaking going on that again at this point I think is like lovely in the background as we fill in the details. But I love this. The dots are connecting in such a beautiful way. I don't think that you can give any flat earth questions or saying that it's not possible because of this, that I cannot come up with a plausible explanation on that would actually work in reality, which is much better than the globe earth. So having a lot of fun with that in the background.
Sweet. And Austin, go. By the way, we should tell everybody it's flatearthfestivals.com. Get your Flattoberfest tickets now, today. Do it.
Yes.
It's
ASAP.
It's the last East Coast extravaganza for a while, I hear. We're going West
and we're
Coast.
going to try and pull something off on the West Coast, which will be cool.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it in my garage. It's going to be awesome. A lot of fun. Go ahead.
So yeah, Flattoberfest. So Con and I will actually be there as well. So you should go check it out.
How big will she be? Will she be able to get through the door?
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll be able to demonstrate curvature.
Yeah.
And then, so we're moving to South Carolina August, and then I'm going to kind of bite the bullet in a way and find a way to set up the nice studio, and I'm going to start doing a lot of streams like pretty much daily. I have like 3 show ideas right now, so that's coming. I'll be doing that in August once we finally land and move in the house in the first week, and that's pretty much my update.
Hey Austin, you always use that example of the curvature of a pregnant woman's belly. Now that you have a pregnant woman's belly, I'd like to see a video with some little toy boats, a ship maybe, and then maybe you can film an actual going over the pregnant belly curvature. I think it's that to all of us.
We might should do that actually. The boat idea really sold it. So I'll get right on it.
And
I'll go real quick.
Yeah, go.
Two updates are happening on the app. One, hopefully tomorrow in the following day. So the app is going to be up and down. We're switching servers, so everything's faster, and we don't have the occasional server down for a half hour like we've had a couple times. And with that update, we're going to have some fun stuff, like you'll be able to customize your referral code, put in your username, whatever you want. So you can have that. And then the big change, by the end of the month, we're changing our antiquated messenger service in the friend finder to what I describe as Telegram meets iMessage having a baby. And it's going to have everything, drop a link, it populates it with the preview. You can put video in there. You can send voice messages. You can change fonts. You can do everything. You can do groups, friends, all sorts of stuff, and voice and video chatting, where everyone gets a set amount per month of minutes because that costs extra. And I think you'll have enough. I mean, it depends on how much you want to utilize it. But every referral that you give will add money into your bank of FaceTime, or not FaceTime, just group chat, whatever, minutes. So I think everyone will be happy with that. So that's going to be a huge upgrade to the app. And I can't wait personally.
Awesome.
Wow. Zuckerberg's going to start hitting you up for ideas, Dave. You watch.
Thanks.
And for me, reminder that my show from this week is going to be tonight. So at 6 p.m. Pacific, I'll do my Jeranism show. So tune in for that. I have a special guest host. It's going to be Stephen Hawking. So it should be an interesting show.
Nice.
It's going to be fun. And besides that, then I've got Jeranism Does on Wednesday. Then I'm going to do another Speaker's Corner on Thursday, and then another Jeranism show Friday. So that's my week. Bob?
Yep. Yeah. I think your Jeranism Does show is awesome, Jeran, the way that you're, setting the example, putting it out there, doing what you would like to see done. You're living it. You're putting into action the things that you want to manifest. And I admire that greatly. Dave does that. You do that. I certainly aspire to do that. And yeah, it's wonderful. So guys, again, if you can, by all means, please support Sean Hibbler on this machine so we can get him going on this. And he's making, of course, one of the nice things that I really want to see him do is make the rebuttal for Jeran and I for what they did to us in Behind the Curve. And, we're going to get all in depth in that. And he said that absolutely he'll work on a good segment for that. And, so I think that would be great. So the link is in the YouTube chat. I will put it in the Rockfin chat.
I think I did. But, maybe I didn't. Hold on. I was getting distracted. Maybe I did.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Well,
I'll put it again.
I'll check. Okay. So it's there. We're up over $1,000. So we have about 800 to go. We're up over halfway, and let's make this happen for him, because I think it's really going to be worthwhile to the community. And this is a man, like I said, that has proven himself time and time again, and I think he's going to do us all proud. So that's all I have.
Okay, let me just say a quick thank you to all the tips. Thank you guys very much. We got Tom Nixon says, "Here we go." Thank you very much for that, Tom. James Ritchie says, "Welcome back, guys." Thank you very much for that tip. Very kind, very generous. Robert Zafaris, always a great supporter of the show. Thank you for the tip, Robert. And we've got Julie Bennett, also always an amazing supporter of the show. $50. She wins the prize. And
wow. Thank you, Julie. And everybody else.
I don't know if I think
and everybody else. You guys are rock stars.
I don't know if we're
I'll go ahead and I'll take the shadow observations and I'll put that together into a video. Although I had a different thing in mind here. I really want to take some of the Spanish channels that a lot of us English speakers just are not very aware of because they're all in Spanish. And so I was actually planning on translating some of these really epic moments from some of the Spanish channels over into English so we can all enjoy them. So that's nice. One of the other things I really want to do. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I think that's everybody.
Okay. I'm just making sure I didn't know if we have any. Is this for this week or not? May 22nd. No. Okay. That's it. Anybody else? Bob, no final words?
That was it for me.
All right, guys. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you guys again next week. And we appreciate you guys listening in. And please share the show. It's one of the hard things to do, I know, but that's the only way it's going to grow, because the way YouTube has it set up and the way Rockfin is, you don't actually get to in front of very many new faces. So the only way things can be spread is through people sharing the show. So it'd be helpful if you like it, enjoy it, share it. And like I said, if you're afraid to put flat earth stuff on your social media, then say this idiot thinks the earth is flat and send them a link to one of my videos, because I've had countless people tell me they came to my channel to make fun of me for 3 or 4 days and then thought about me a lot at work the next day and then the day after, and then they binge watched all my shows, and now they are one of us. So go ahead. Tell people this idiot believes the earth's flat. I don't care. I'm used to it. All right, guys, don't lie to each other. Be kind to each other and open your mind. There is truth inside. Till next week, this has been Globebusters. Peace.
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 See you tomorrow morning with Karen B on Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk with Karen B.